Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Hope everybody is having a fantastic Sunday. Wally World, Hallucinate, nice to see you. I am not sure if I'm streaming over on Rumble. I got to check. I did something weird. Today when I tried to stream on Rumble. It said my stream key was invalid or something. Oh, no, looks like we're good over there. Looks like we're good on Rumble, X, and YouTube. We are live. Hope everyone is having a good one. Can you guys see Scarlett? All right. You want to say hi to everybody? Quit pawing at me. All right. I know you missed them. I know. I've been neglecting Scarlett a lot lately. I've been working 10-hour days, driving 4 hours each day. She's been extra lovey when I get home lately. Okay. I know. All right. You can't crawl up here. Can you go lay down? Or just stare out the window like you were doing? All right. What is going on, people? What is new? What is shaking? Geez, I have so much stuff I want to cover. I can only, yeah, she's a happy girl. Hallucinate. She loves everybody. She really does. Everybody's scared of her, though. Well, not everyone. Tons of people are scared of her. Everybody thinks she's a vicious pit bull, and she's like scared of birds. She's scared of everything. There's so much to cover. I'm only doing one show a week right now. I'm going to try and do one during the week later next week, but I don't know. It's rough, you guys. I'm getting up at 3 a.m. I'm driving an hour and a half to Oakland to work, and we're doing 10-hour days right now, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And then it's usually 2.5 hours to get home because people are insane. People don't know how to drive. People drive like maniacs. I swear people forgot how to drive during COVID, and now everybody's back on the roads and nobody knows what to do. There's an accident every day. I get stuck in an accident every freaking day. It sucks. So, it's I don't get home till 7. So I'm leaving my house at 4:15 a.m. and then I don't get home until around 7 in the evening. Got to get my workout in or a run. Got to make dinner. Got to walk the dogs. Got to feed the dogs. And then it's time to go to bed. And it's already late. I want to be in bed by 9, but I usually can't get into bed by 11. So, I'm getting like 3.5 hours of sleep each night. So it's rough, but I got to grind it out right now. Getting caught up on all the things. All righty. Well, we've got tons of stuff to talk about. All the stuff that I have pulled up is from the last 2 weeks. Most of it's just from last week, but I did an interview last week, so I didn't have time to, cover any of the top stories or breaking California news or anything like that. So we're going to go over all of it tonight. And well, not even all of it. Just tons of stuff that I decided not to talk about just because there's not enough time. And we're going to go as long as it takes tonight. It might be longer than 2 hours. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff pulled up, but everything is from the last 2 weeks. We're going to talk just about California tonight. That's all we're talking about. This is a California episode. And, because everybody covers, there's tons of shows that cover everything that's going on in the country, all the top stories, all the madness that goes on in this crazy country, but there isn't too many shows that are California specific. So I want to talk about, and there's plenty California madness to get into, just covering just the stuff I can make a whole show just about the Bay Area. The Bay Area is insane. Most of these, actually, I think there's only one story outside of the Bay Area. Only one of them is from LA. Everything else is from the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. Yeah, it's madness out here. It's absolute madness, and our governor is a maniac, and somehow he keeps getting reelected with all those mail-in ballots. Well, let's get right into it, I guess. That was so that video that I just played, that was a video that I shot. I drive past that every day, that little shanty town, that little slum shanty town. The video doesn't do it justice either. My brain breaks. I lived out in Castro Valley, I lived in Castro Valley. I lived in San Leandro for, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. I worked in Emeryville, and at two different times I worked in Emeryville. I worked in Emeryville from like 07 to 09. Then I worked in Emeryville again from like 2013 to 2015. And I've never seen it this bad. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but it's insane. It's truly insane. This isn't just like little pockets of homelessness either. It's everywhere. Unless you get up into the hills, it's everywhere. My brain breaks. This guy I work with took me to the best fried chicken place that I've ever been to in my entire life. Absolutely fantastic. And it was out of like this super little hood, like liquor store. And it was like in the straight hood. No joke. There was a burnt out car missing all four wheels, like right around the corner from it. And, you know, homeless encampments all over the place. You get out of your car, me being a white boy, thinking I'm going to get robbed. And I didn't really think I was going to get robbed. People like my car out there. What's funny is I get along with everybody out there. Like when I talk to people, everybody's cool. Everybody's cool with me. But I met a dude at the gas station who had like a 1982 Chevy Caprice. And we ended up talking for like 20 minutes. This big ass black dude, and just got along great. I was being all white and nerdy, telling him about my car and how it was hard to get it to pass smog. But people, I don't know. I don't know why people feel like they have to vote for this progressive ideology, and if they don't, they're like stepping out of line somehow. I don't know. I don't get it, because everybody that I talk to still like hates Donald Trump. Still, you know, not everybody. That's not true at all. But the vast majority of people, like one dude at work started just talking about 34 counts, 34 felonies, started saying all that stuff. And I just asked him, I was like, okay, I was like, what are they? What are the felonies? He couldn't tell me. It's like, do you know? I mean, he was like, well, it was like that Stormy Daniels hush money case. And I was like, is it because he paid her? Is it because he paid her not to talk about it? Was that what the charges are for? He's like, I don't even know. I just know that he's a felon. I'm like, bro, just like dig a little deeper into that. Just go farther with it. He's a felon. It's like, are you a felon? I even asked him, I said, are you a felon? And he happened to be one. And I was like, dude, it's just, there's this, I don't know, Trump derangement syndrome. It's like perfectly normal, perfectly sane people just get stuck with Trump derangement syndrome, orange man bad. And the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland is like another planet in that regard. Just people think he's the most evil guy on earth. Blue Katu, nice to see you. I don't know how to say that. Tanaki? I'm assuming the J is silent. To jockey? I don't know how to say that. I just did a week trip to South Carolina, Charleston, and then Nashville, and I could count the homeless I saw the entire trip on two hands. Yeah, I was in Nashville probably a year ago, and Nashville's a great freaking city. It really is. It's beautiful. I loved it out there. Hated the humidity. I was out there visiting my buddy Roscoe, and yeah, I did not enjoy the humidity, but I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the jiu-jitsu. I did not enjoy the weather. I enjoyed shooting guns. That was really fun. I couldn't believe the guns that they sell just in gun stores. Just go in. They're the gun range there. You can go there and you could shoot a 50 BMG. You could shoot a fully auto whatever. I can't even remember what it was. I think it was M4. It was so fun. It was just so fun. I had tons of fun in Nashville. Terry Wallace, nice to see you. All right, let's let's quit ranting too much. Let's just get into some stories, shall we? There's plenty to talk about. It's just plenty. This is mostly California stuff that we're going to be getting into. So let's go over to let's see. Let's go over to Rakesh on X here. Yeah. So this is a couple nights ago. Actually, I think this is last night in San Francisco at the Embarcadero. And last weekend, I believe it was, they had some big crazy rave that everybody knew about. And I don't think the rave itself got too out of hand, but it was just some big crazy rave. Well, this was like equal in scale to this big crazy rave. It looks like it was very well planned, very well funded, but it wasn't a rave. This was a street takeover. This was an intersection takeover, sideshow. And these things are turning into like events, these crazy sideshows. So yeah, this is going on last night in the Embarcadero. Check it out. Oh, for perspective, I guess people rented out like hotel rooms because they knew this thing was coming up. So they rented out hotel rooms with high visibility of the intersection. So you can see they got like a bonfire going in the middle of the intersection, and then they're just spinning donuts around this bonfire. And the cops are just right down the street because they don't have, I mean, the cops, there isn't enough cops to stop this. Then they know that these crowds of people will attack the cop cars. They straight up will. They'll jump on the cop cars, they'll break the windows. They're outmatched. They're outmanned. It's a so they can't do anything about it, so they just let it happen, and they just try to control it if they can, try to limit the damage, I guess. But those same cops will bust you, if you whatever. They'll if you're a person that's a law-abiding citizen that they know that they can extract money from, they will happily bust you for parking in the wrong place in Pacific Heights. You still get those people. I talk about this all the time. The three-wheeled carts that drive around, and they got these things that take pictures of your tires to see if your tires have moved. So they still have like 2-hour parking during the day in San Francisco, in Pacific Heights. Construction workers got to leave the job site, go down to their car, try to find new parking, move it around every 2 hours, or they'll get a massive ticket, like $180. Meanwhile, in the exact same city, this is going on. Like, that is the definition of anarcho tyranny. You got, working class dudes that all they're trying to do is go to work and work on a residential construction site. And if they step out of line, if they miss moving their car by 10 minutes, they'll get hit with a $180, $200 ticket. Meanwhile, on the weekends, you've got this going on. Untold damage. Clearly, all of this is illegal. How many of these people should get tickets? It's anarcho tyranny. They only enforce the law against those they know they can extract money from. It's insane. I'll quit rambling. Let's watch this sideshow. If you guys aren't familiar with San Francisco, if you don't know the area, this is right down the street, maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away from where the Giants play at AT&T Park, or whatever it's called now. Whatever, I don't know whatever they've renamed it to, but Willie Mays Plaza. It's right down the road. Like, you go under the Bay Bridge right here, and you're at the Giants Stadium. This during the day, you'll see people jogging up and down. This is the Embarcadero, super famous. Right up Fremont Street. You got the financial district right there and everything that has just been completely overrun by homeless because people weren't going to offices during COVID. But, the homeless didn't have anywhere to go. They didn't have any work from home. They stayed in the same place. Yeah, this is like a very famous area in San Francisco. All of San Francisco is pretty much famous, but this is supposed to be a safe, relatively safe, beautiful area. So that's happening. Here's another angle of it. It's from Frisco Live. Insane. Oh, so it's a car that they torched. Man, hold on. I screwed something up here. Why does this keep happening? Sorry, folks. I got another video playing and I can hear the audio of it. I think it's one of Joe Biden shitting his pants. Allegedly shitting his pants. We'll play that one later. You guys heard about that one, right? Joe Biden going poopy pants. Okie dokie. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. I see now I'm all screwed up. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, street takeovers in San Francisco. A lot of these people came over from Oakland because that's where this stuff is usually happening, Oakland and LA. But they're popping up all over the place in California, tons of different cities. And this shit will happen on a Tuesday. I mean, it doesn't have to be the weekend for this stuff. It's summertime. Summer is here, folks. I've been saying since the summer of love, since the George Floyd riots, I've been saying that 2024 is going to be the most insane summer that we've ever seen. And it's here. We are officially here. It's officially summer. So for the next like 3-4 months, all the way leading up to November, shit is just going to get more wild and more wild. Just we're going to see insane stuff happening, in obviously in like large Democrat run cities, but there's something's going to happen that is like some sort of big thing, like a George Floyd type thing. Some sort of, I'm not going to say it's going to be a false flag. I'm not saying that it won't be a false flag, but some sort of big catalyzing event is going to happen. Everybody can just sort of feel it. You just know it's going to happen. All right, let's keep going here. Blue K2, it's frozen. Oh no, I paused it. I paused it. It was enough of that video. What? No. What the hell? Hallucinate Black Swan event. Now, did I not play any of the next video? I swear I did. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. Well, okay, fine. I'll play it again. I guess I didn't transfer the video over. Shut up, Wally. And I don't drink. You guys drink. You guys drink when I forget to transfer the video over and play the next tab. All right, let's watch this again. Well, I already watched it. I guess you guys didn't. So, okay. It's just a different angle of the same street takeover.
Live from the Embarcadero.
This video is courtesy of Frisco Live. If you guys don't follow them over there on the X platform. So it's guaranteed this is a stolen car. So they steal the car, bring it to the event, torch it on fire, and then spin donuts around it. That was their. And this is like, how does everybody know about this? These people aren't all from San Francisco. They clearly coordinated this. People bought hotel rooms for it. Shit's insane. It's not just Oakland and San Francisco. This was actually like a week ago. So these things seem to the one I just showed you was from last night, but this next one, this from Mario Narwhals, he says this is San Francisco. California has fallen. I don't agree. California hasn't fallen yet. Some cities kind of have, but and I don't even know what that means. Fallen. It's like, yeah, that's anarcho tyranny, freaking lawlessness, all that stuff. Yeah, for sure, I get it. But this video here, this was from like a week ago, and I think this was during the week. This was like a Tuesday. Man, I think that was my favorite Cadillac too. I hate what they do to these cars. It makes me so upset. Let's go to the next one here. So that's enough for the sideshows, but shit is happening just in broad daylight now. This is, I don't even know how to describe this. This scene is from Betty U over there at what is she? KTVU Fox 2. Who's she with again? Yeah, KTVU Fox 2. So this just looks like CCTV footage of some woman getting robbed over in Chinatown. Broad daylight. Why are the streets absolutely empty? Like completely empty. What the hell is going on? All this, is this like super early in the morning or something? Like, where is everyone? I don't get what this is. Just a weird like dystopian scene to me. Stuff like this is happening all over the place. Look at this one. So this dude gets robbed at gunpoint. This is like, and I think this is the financial district, and broad daylight, middle of the day, looks like a weekday because there's tons of cars everywhere. They just do this right in front of everybody. Look at this. This one's insane, and this is the kind of stuff that's happening all the time now. Like, criminals are completely emboldened to do whatever they want.
Oh my God. It's terrible.
So you can see one of the guys in the guy in the gray sweatshirt has a pistol in his hand, and people just driving by, just guy across the street recording it. You know, this is a super busy area where, I mean, 10 years ago, you'd just assume that there's going to be a cop on every corner. There's going to be a cop around every corner. No way this happens 10 years ago in broad daylight in front of everybody, but this is just the world we live in now in the Bay Area. You got the California flag flying literally directly above them. It's just sort of ironic. Car was probably stolen, as you saw the back window busted out. So it's just, this stuff's insane. It's all this stuff's insane. What's going on? And here's another one. This is you know what? I didn't even mean to start with San Francisco. I meant to start with Oakland, but that's okay. We'll go back to Oakland. So this is also from Betty U over here. Says SF-based online store Dare Fashion suffers $300,000 in losses after office burglary. Ben Wang believes the suspects broke into the building to access his company's office by cutting a hole in the plywood of a boarded up unit on Market Street.
experienced a break-in of this magnitude. I want to show you that the owner, Ben Wong, says that he started this business 17 years ago and never experienced a break-in of this magnitude. I want to show you this. This is how he believes the thieves have made their way inside. It appears that they cut into the plywood of this vacant space in the Market Street building that they share.
There was a hole here, and all these, none of these boards were all broken.
Owner of Dare Fashion, Ben Wong, says this is the hole he believes thieves emerged from after breaking into the building earlier this month. He discovered it on the second floor, not far from his office. From there, he said the crooks smashed their way into his company's space, wiping out $300,000 worth of electronics and his best-selling items, including 1,000 necklaces and 1,200 costumes. This was all that was left after thieves wiped out his most popular items. He had conveniently packed them into rolling bags that he had prepared to sell at a booth at the 4th Gathering, a World Goth Day celebration in Alameda.
It makes me sad to look at this because it's kind of the end of an era.
Dare Fashion, which sells Gothic, Victorian, Renaissance, and steampunk clothes online, manufactures all products in San Francisco and Oakland. He runs the business.
Okay, you guys get the point. So they broke in, stole all the shit. You can't have nice things in San Francisco anymore. You just can't. So where's London Breed's priorities? Well, here's London Breed putting out a post saying, overnight, our city hall was defaced with racist and sexist slurs. This hateful act is a painful reminder of the work that we still need to do. Like many, I confront this kind of hate almost every day online, but I want to be clear. This disgusting racism and sexism isn't just about me. It hurts everyone in our city. And while someone attempted to stain our community with racist vitriol and hatred, stains can be lifted. These are the moments when San Francisco demonstrates that our city and people cannot and will not be intimidated. Well, the guy that got robbed in broad daylight and the lady that got robbed at 6 a.m., thank you, person in the chat of Chads, I believe, is who said that in the chat, and the street takeovers, the people of San Francisco seem to be pretty intimidated, not by the graffiti on your wall. Like, this is where her priorities are. Somebody said mean words and hurt her fifis. That's where her priorities are. This is these people are trash. The people that run these cities are absolute trash. Her and Shanty Towns over in Oakland, just absolute garbage.
This morning, a number of our city employees who came into work early discovered some very racist and sexist graffiti painted on City Hall. They immediately sprung into action to do an appropriate investigation and to...
No, she doesn't say what the racist and sexist slurs were, and they don't show a picture of it. And then she says that they're conducting an investigation. Are you conducting an investigation about the coordinated street takeovers that appear to be happening every night?
Clean and clear this graffiti and to ensure that the minimum number of people are able to see it and witness it more so because of how hurtful it is. More specifically, we have people who come into this building every day to not only work, but to pay their taxes. People who come here to get married. This place, City Hall, represents a public space of inclusion and of equity and of place.
San Francisco City Hall represents a failure of government. That's what it represents.
That all should feel welcome to come for any particular purpose. And we will never tolerate any discourse or any hate like what we are experiencing now through this harmful, the harmful words that have been sprayed onto City Hall's front door, because we want to ensure that this place continues to be a beacon of hope, a welcoming place where we celebrate our diversity, where we celebrate San Franciscans, and where we do everything we can to ensure that people feel safe, that they feel included, and they don't feel disrespected, or that their race doesn't feel dishonored.
Does it feel to you guys that London Breed and the San Francisco government are doing everything they can to make sure that people feel safe? Notice that was the first thing she said, feel safe. No one in San Francisco feels safe. Are you kidding me? Look at all the videos I just showed you. These are from the last 2 weeks. Most of them are just from the last week. This stuff's happening all the time. It's just the norm now. Broad daylight break-ins, broad daylight robberies, street takeovers every night, businesses getting looted for everything they got. But again, people will still get parking tickets and still get their cars towed. Where if that same parking space that someone got a ticket in, if somebody put up a tent in there or put a broken down RV that they're going to live out of, they wouldn't get messed with. That's the duopoly that we got going on. That's the anarcho tyranny, the two-tier justice system that they have in San Francisco. And it's because of London Breed and their government and what policies they choose to enforce. They won't do anything that's difficult. Anything that will be considered that they'll get pushback from the community for, like if they decided to actually arrest fentanyl dealers or deport fentanyl dealers that are here illegally, deport anybody that's here illegally. If they decided, hey, you can't shoot up on the street anymore, so we're going to stop handing out needles. If they started arresting people for taking shits on the sidewalk, if they stopped allowing all that shit, all that stuff's difficult, so they won't do it. But what's easy? Writing a parking ticket to somebody that's parked in a rich neighborhood, that's a general contractor, that if he doesn't pay his ticket, he'll get his license suspended, and now he can't go to work. That's who they extract money from. That's who they enforce policies against. Easy targets. They're criminals. They are criminals. They're no better than the mob. The San Francisco government, anyone in the California government, with what's going on, the two-tier justice system, anarcho tyranny, they are no better than the mob. In fact, if the mob was running the city, you wouldn't see the crime. You wouldn't nearly as much. You'd see organized crime, but you wouldn't see people shitting on the sidewalks. Think the mob would tolerate that shit? San Francisco would be better off if the actual mob was running the city. They would be better off.
I am acutely aware of the history of even this building, where at one point Black people were not, women were not allowed in this building. And here we are. Not only is the front entrance of this particular street that used to be Polk Street, it's named after an African-American doctor and publisher, Dr. Carlton B. Goodlett, but also an African-American woman mayor. It does not go unnoticed that we have seen real changes and real challenges in the past year around race and around disruption and disrespect. But ultimately, there is okay to have disagreements, but what is not okay is to be malicious and to put hurtful graffiti and words that are very triggering and rooted in our history in such a ugly way that it.
Rude words. That's where her priorities are. Of all the things that are going on in her city, racism and sexism seem to be the problem in the most progressive city on earth. In San Francisco, the biggest problems are still racism and sexism. Is anyone buying this? Anyone at all? Does anyone really think that that racism is even a problem in San Francisco? It's this woman's out of her mind.
It sparks, a feeling from people, a feeling from Black workers who show up to this building every day to see that and how that makes them feel, to women who show up to this building every single day, to brides and grooms who get married, the people who come and use this space.
You know what those Black men and Black women are more upset about than showing up to the building and seeing mean words? They're more upset when they get back to their car and the window's broken. That's what they're more upset about. Who cares about the mean fifis? The mean words that hurt your fifis. Who gives a shit, London Breed? Fix your fucking city.
So my goal is to do everything we can to ensure that there is a full, thorough, and transparent investigation, and we're able to remove this as soon as possible, and we're able to continue to get back to the work of the city.
Oh, the work of the city? Get back to your pride parades? These people are insufferable. Insufferable. I can't. Is London breed clinically insane? Is a great question, Casey Martin. Yes, I think so. It was good meeting you too. If you guys don't know, I met Casey Martin in the flesh a few weeks back. It's good to see you, homie. Blue Catu, Catastrophonia. I see what you did there. That was a good one. B Sizzo, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Miss Cakes, hell no. It's a cesspit of everything bad. Yep, I concur. Yes, Chad of Chads, thanks. That attack in Chinatown was at 6 a.m. Okay, good to know. That's why there's nobody on the street. Still, 6 a.m., that's not that early. Why? Why is nobody on the street? Yeah, hopefully I'll let you know when there's another like event thing coming up. I should say the California Academy of Sciences, California Academy of Art and Sciences, I believe, is putting on. I should have had the link prepared. They're doing an art contest, and they want kids. I'm friends with one of the scientists over there, and I don't know why he's friends with me either. But they're doing a contest where they want kids. It's about. I should have been better prepared for this. I'll talk about it next episode. But yeah, just go to the California Academy of Art and Sciences website, and you'll see it there. Get your kids into the art contest. Yeah, I should have had that pulled up as a link. I am so ill prepared for that. Casey Martin reminded me of it because the gentleman putting it on was one of the speakers at the Cassie event that I met him at. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, that's enough. That's enough San Francisco nonsense. Let's get to some Oakland stuff. I actually meant to start off with the Oakland stuff because that's where I've been working all week. And again, I drive by that little shanty town every freaking day. It doesn't do it justice. And what's funny is that little shanty town that I drive by that I opened up the show with. That is the same intersection that they can't put a stoplight there anymore. They have to just do a stop sign now because everybody keeps stealing the copper from the stop sign or from the stoplight. Everybody keeps stealing the copper, so they can't keep a light there. They can't keep a traffic light there. That's how hood this area has gotten. People are building houses out of pallets, discarded plywood, other discarded trash. They're just building little shanty houses out of them, living in it. And the funny thing is, it's not that funny, but right at the corner is like this little flower shop. It's so ridiculous. Oakland's on another planet. So, all right, let's go over to Bay Area state of mind here. Oakland is the stuff that I have coming out of Oakland for the last 2 weeks is even worse than the stuff that I have coming out of San Francisco. It's crazy. Oakland is a wild, wild city. And that's where I'm working right now. And not in a good area either. The area I'm working in is not a great area. But like I said, everybody I meet there is nice to me for the most part. I got some weird looks when I went to that fried chicken place because I was like the only white guy in the area, but I'm kind of nerdy looking. But they were nice. They're still nice to me. I was kind of got like a what the hell is this guy doing here sort of look. Man, that chicken was good. I'll take a picture next week. I'll go there again and get seriously just fried chicken, and I got some fried chicken and some jalapeno poppers. Yeah, I'm eating terribly now. I need to start running a lot more. Did an awesome little 5-mile run in Santa Cruz today. It was really fun. But I'll share this fried chicken place in case any of you Bay Area Oaklanders want to go check it out. You got to go to the hood, but it's worth it. All right, let's go over to Bay Area state of mind here. So this is just an elderly ice cream vendor gets robbed. One of those guys that pushes around the ice cream cart that's got what, maybe $50 on him, $60, $100 max. Yeah, he got robbed. At gunpoint. Did that dude take an ice cream sandwich? I swear that dude took some ice cream. Like, oh, just, go on a little snack later after we're done committing strong-armed robbery. Look, they all got guns. They're all... I wonder, that if that dude was to quickly draw a pistol and mag dump, hit all three of those guys in the chest quickly before they could even react, and they, God forbid, passed away on the street right there, I wonder if that happened, if that guy would get prosecuted. I'm very curious, and a lot of you would probably say, yeah, he absolutely would. So a story that was kind of going viral last week is so there, you know how they repave the roads? You guys know when they repave the roads, they got to like take all of the old pavement or asphalt or whatever off the road first. They grade the road, then they lay down gravel, and then they put asphalt over that. And you know, it's a pain in the ass when they do it to your neighborhood, because it's like no parking on the street for a certain amount of time, usually a day or two. And it's inconvenient for everybody. But you know that, hey, our road's super screwed up, they got to do the work, so you know, everybody just kind of deals with it. Well, these workers over in Oakland here, and these guys that are repaving the roads are usually union guys, and I would imagine, I would bet money these are union guys. So these guys, they graded the road. They took all the old gravel off the road, so it's just a dirt road at that point, you know, because you got to get rid of you can't just like lay asphalt down on top of a shitty road. It'll just be garbage in 6 months. So they did all that, made it essentially like a dirt road, and then one of the workers got a gun pulled on him because he told a guy that he's got to move his car. And the company was just like, all right, you know what? Screw this. We're not going to finish the job. We're not going to finish the job until police can secure the area and ensure our safety. So now this street is left with just as a dirt road. And it's because of somebody that lives on the street that pulled a gun on the workers. So again, let's go over to Betty Yu from KTVU Fox 2.
Colorado's Drive in East Oakland has been a rocky, uneven mess for weeks. Nearby streets are filled with giant potholes that look like craters, and cars are covered with dust. There are several signs posted citing upcoming construction, but neighbors say there's been no sign of any work since early May.
It makes me feel that the city of Oakland.
Oh yeah, I always forget to say. So who said that in the chat there? Hickory54, thanks for the reminder. If you guys give that like button a tap, it really does help, especially if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. Give that, actually any of the platforms. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, give that like button a tap. If you're watching over on X, give the show a repost. That's the best way to help spread the show and, you know, keep this thing going. I plan on doing this for the foreseeable future. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. So if you enjoy the show, please give it a like, share, send it to a friend, all that good stuff. If you want to support my work over on the Twitter platform, there's a little button you can tap right next to my name. If you're watching on the app, it's right next to my name. You can tap it and it'll allow you to tip me if you'd like to. If you'd like to support the show, it's probably the best way to do it. But if you don't want to do that, best way to support the show is just give it a like, give it a repost or a share, all that good stuff. So Hickory54, thank you for the reminder. I always forget to say that. Usually the RGS is the one that reminds me, but he's not here right now. It's probably because I'm streaming streaming early.
Is neglecting our communities around here.
Oakland Public Works confirmed to KTVU that 2 separate safety incidents involving workers on this project forced the contractor to pull out in May. One worker who told a driver to move his car for paving purposes had a gun pulled on him. Another was hit by a car. Maya, who didn't want to show her face on camera, said it's been difficult to get any answers from the city.
They basically abandoned. The problem is they don't tell us anything. We call them almost every other day. It's not only inconvenience, it's dangerous. We have 3 spinouts. I keep on getting sick because all this does.
Look at this. Look at this. Look.
Danette Trousseau, who runs a home daycare, is worried about the safety of children. One neighbor showed us his parked car that was hit. Sherry Angarano also tried to get answers from Oakland officials.
I spoke to the project manager that was listed on the public notice I received in March. He told me that the contractor suspended all work due to an unsafe work environment. and they would not continue work until the city of Oakland guaranteed a safe work environment.
Angarano said she's not worried about violent crime on her street where she's lived for 8 years, but the roads?
It's really unsafe. I'm unsure if my tire is going to go.
So hold up. This is what I'm talking about here. This is like the clinically insane thing that I can't wrap my brain around. So she's aware that one of the workers got a gun pulled on him and another guy was hit by a freaking car. And they said, it's too dangerous for us to finish this project. Who's she pissed at? She's pissed at the company. She's pissed at the company who's protecting their workers. And I'm just guessing here in saying that this woman might have socialist leaning tendencies, but aren't the socialists supposed to be all about the worker? She's mad at the wrong people. You're supposed to be mad at the government. And she says, I'm not worried about crime. I'm not worried about crime in East Oakland. Why not, lady? You live in East Oakland. Have you driven around? I'm in East Oakland every day, and I can verify that it's not good. These people are out of their minds. I can't with this lady. How can you be mad at the company for protecting their workers and at the same time say your crime's not a problem? They got a guy got a gun pulled on him. Another one got hit by a car, but it's the construction company's fault that our roads are shit. It's not that workers can't get the job done without getting guns pulled on them. That's not the problem. It's not the government. It's the company.
Flat if a rock is going to kick up and crack my windshield, and I'm just disappointed.
Oh, that's what you're scared of. You're scared of the rock hitting your windshield, not the freaking bullet that might hit you. Look at all the gates around people's houses in East Oakland. That's not because this is a gated community, folks. That's not why. It's Jesus, this lady freaking so frustrating.
It's just another case of neglect from the city of Oakland for East Oakland.
Oh, okay. All right. She redeemed herself a little bit there. She blamed the neglect of the city of Oakland. Okay. Fair enough, lady. I retract. No, I don't. You still seem to not be quite getting it, but I'm glad you at least have some blame for the city of Oakland.
And I spoke to a public works official tonight. He said that the city actually has a new contractor in place who is supposed to pick up the work starting tomorrow. Now, once that work begins, the job should actually take about 1 to 3 days. Julie?
And Betty, you were out there today. How do residents feel about living there? Are they concerned about?
I wish they would have. Wait a minute. Is this Betty? You? Holy crap! We couldn't get the answer about if citizens are concerned because Betty you can only put up 2-minute and 20-second videos. You know why? Because Betty won't pay for the $8 for the check mark. That's frustrating. Really, Betty you? Really, Betty? You silly leftist? That's the only people that aren't willing to do that. Okay, let's keep going here. So frustrating. So freaking frustrating. Here's another video from East Oakland. This is 12th Street. So, I mean, the amount of burnt out cars that I see in Oakland that are just, this is like stuff that you see from the old, was the movie The Warriors? Remember The Warriors, the 80s movie? Warriors come out to play. They got the bottles on his fingers. You guys know what I'm talking about? They got the funny gangs. They had the baseball gang. Remember that goofy movie? Well, you'd see burnt out cars and alleyways and shit like that. And, it was just that's stuff you see in the movies. And no, you see that all over the place now in Oakland. In Oakland, there's burnt out cars everywhere. And they'll stay there for weeks. And this car, this RV right here, this burnt down to its frame. There's two of these burnt out RVs down to their frame within 2 blocks of each other from this video. That 2 of these things within 2 blocks of each other, and then a bunch of other RVs, vans, and vehicles that are missing wheels, have the doors blown out from them, all the windows broken, all that kind of stuff. But there's within like 2 or 3 blocks from each other, there's 2 of these burnt out RVs all the way like burnt to the ground where it's just the frame, and they've both been sitting there for at least 2 weeks. Meanwhile, certain locations in Oakland, if you park there for too long, they will tow your car. Are you seeing the imbalance here? Same city. They will ticket and tow your car in certain areas. Other areas, you can have a burnt out RV stay there for an indefinite period of time. So this is the video I shot. It's unreal. So you get all these RVs parked on a street, and inevitably one of them burns to the ground, probably because they're freaking torching foil and a meth pipe on there. That's probably why. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's keep going. Casey Martin leftists are insane. Yes, they are. Terry Wallace, I had some tea at Ion when I saw that interview. She is very, very selfish. Who's selfish? Terry Wallace, who are you talking about? You're talking about Betty Yee or Betty Yu, whatever her name was. Sucks. She seems like a nice lady too. So frustrating. Leftists are so frustrating. All right, let's go over to Henry K. Lee, another leftist from KTVU Fox 2. So this is what I'm talking about here. All right, so let's go to this post here. So this gentleman got all 4 of his tires, all 4 of his wheels. You don't just steal tires, Henry. Like you got to steal the wheels too. You can't just take some of these tires off. All 4 tires stolen from Toyota RAV4 parked on Miles near Rockridge, SF Bart. Due to Memorial Day weekend, victim tells me she's had challenges finding a tow company that can remove it without wheels. Despite her note, Oakland police slapped a warning notice on her SUV. She's doubly upset. So they stole the wheels off of her car. And they left it on, looks like gas cans. Look at this. So left a note. Says, this is not an abandoned vehicle. All tires and wheels were stolen on 5/23 between 8 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Please contact me if there is whatever. She put her phone number there. She probably doesn't want to put that on the internet, which I understand. It's a picture of it. And then this is the orange sticker that got slapped on her car. Oakland saying, so the 3 codes that she violated. Provides that no vehicle shall be parked up upon any steel or alley for a period of, any street or alley for a period exceeding 72 hours. Really? They allow RV encampments all over 12th Street, all over the place. And again, that burnt out RV that I showed you, that thing's been there for weeks, but they know that they can't get any ticket money out of that RV. It's just there. So, they just got to get rid of it and dispose of it, but they can't get any money for it. So they'll just leave it there. But this lady, they know they can extract money from. So they'll go after her. Oakland Municipal Code provides that no vehicle shall be parked on public property or roadway for more than 72 hours. Okay, that's the same thing. Provides it unlawful to use streets for the purpose of washing, greasing, repairing, or storing vehicles. Oh, God. They're like accusing her. And then down here at the bottom, it says, tow on 29 May of 24 after X amount of hours. I can't tell, but they're saying we're going to tow your car if you don't get it moved in a certain amount of time. So again, she gets all 4 of her wheels stolen because the city of Oakland has just like let crime run rampant. And now they're threatening to tow her car because she got her wheels stolen. Meanwhile, you've got people living out of their cars that are inoperable, that have been sitting in the same spot for probably months. You've got people building shanty houses on the sidewalk, on public sidewalks, and little like easements behind the sidewalks, building full-on shanty houses. You've got people living out of burnt out RVs or just burnt out RVs, RV encampments all up and down 12th Street, right near International, MacArthur. They got same thing over at MacArthur, all over the place. Are they enforcing those? They're not. It's anarcho tyranny in Oakland, anarcho tyranny in San Francisco. Here's another picture of the car. So, this is how this lady gets to work. It's like, so the city's not going to pay for her tow truck. So she has to pay for a tow truck to get this. And I mean, some of you guys tow truck operators out there, you can't, in order for her to get this on a tow truck, she almost has to go get new wheels. She almost has to go buy new wheels for it, call AAA, or, get a friend that has a jack and one by one put the wheels on this car, or jack it up, like get jack stands and jack it up. So the car, you need 4 jack stands to jack it all the way up, get it high enough off the ground to actually physically put the wheels on it. Hope that your rotors aren't damaged. Like, this is going to cost this lady $1,000 just to get her car moved. It's going to cost her $1,000. This is how she gets to work. And that's who the city's going after. Middle-class people that are barely hanging on by a thread. That's who Oakland goes after. It's infuriating. It's like the case down in San Diego where they're going after the people that are doing yoga in the park. One guy organized something online, bunch of friends, probably like 20 or 30 people, and they go to a park right next to the beach, and they decide they're going to do yoga. It's not like he's not making any money off of it. It's just an organized thing that they got a bunch of people together to go to yoga. Well, the guy that organized it got a ticket. Meanwhile, right down the way, there's someone shooting up fentanyl, like a couple blocks away. There's this known building, I guess, that people hang out and do fentanyl at. Who they go after? The people they can extract money from. That's where we're at. And the bootlicking cops are just fine with it. Like, the bootlicking cops are just going to follow the orders. They're just going to do their job and go over and write the ticket to the guy that's doing yoga, showing people how to live a healthy lifestyle. Meanwhile, they'll just walk right past the guy shooting up fentanyl that got the needle from the city he's living in. Like, what kind of insane mad world are we living in? That's what California is doing. It's rewarding the most horrible possible behaviors, and at the same time, they'll go after people financially that are hanging on by a thread, or people that are trying to better their community, show people how to live a healthy lifestyle. Even though people that do yoga and vegans are the most annoying people on earth, they're still trying to show someone how to live a better lifestyle. The cops giving them tickets are even more annoying than they are. So here's the Oakland Police Department. If your vehicle was towed, please do not call 911. Instead, check the status of your vehicle by clicking on the link below. Only dial 911 for situations that pose a risk to life, health, property, or public safety. Okay? All right. So that's when you want to call 911. Dial 911 for situations that pose a risk to life, health, property, or public safety. Okay, let's go over to Jake Shields. Let's go over to Jake Shields here on Twitter. What is it? What is this? Oh, this is something from Reddit. Nobody answers Oakland City phone numbers. Today, near Lake Merritt, I saw a raccoon that looked injured or possibly rabid, running in circles and over again there for 10 minutes. It was within sight. If rabid, it presents a very, very real danger to pets, children, and adults in the park. I called animal control. 5 minutes on the phone, 5 minutes on a phone tree just to get a voicemail box. Then I tried police non-emergency line. Realized it's actually the same number as animal control, just a different extension. Didn't get through to anyone. Finally, reluctantly, I decided to call the emergency line, not 911, the emergency line, just not 911, just because I believe the animal poses a potential threat, or at least deserves intervention of some kind. Sat there for 5 minutes. No one picked up. Eventually, I just gave up and went home, and no one has since called me back hours later. What the hell? Really just shocked at the terrible execution of city numbers. I guarantee you 911 doesn't pick up when you call sometimes. This whole thing's so frustrating. It's frustrating. So this is the video that I just showed you guys. The video of me driving past that burnt out RV. That burnt out RV is this next stoplight. So you notice how this is a stop sign right here? Actually, the first video that I opened up the show with, I drove down this very street. This is the street I drove down. The first video that I opened up, behind, like where the intersection that this guy's sitting at, behind, to his left is the flower shop at the corner of the street, and behind him is the Shanty Town. This is the other side of 12th Street. 12th Street's broken in. Like 12th Street is it's kind of weird. 12th Street's like two streets. It's it's like 3 lanes in one direction, or 2 lanes. Yeah, 2 lanes in one direction and then 2 lanes in the other direction. And there's like an easement in between, like a grass, not even a median. It's like a big grass patch because they're kind of on different levels at a certain point. But that's where they built all these homeless shanty houses. It's, you got the BART train running right there on elevated tracks. But these are all these RVs. And then the one that I just showed you is actually up at this next intersection here that you can't see, but I was coming down 12th Street and I just hung a right just to show you guys the burnt out RV. But you can see all these RVs on the left here. These are all, this is what they allow. So remember, lady gets her car, wheels stolen off of her car, and well, they say that they're going to tow the car if she doesn't fix it. Even though she's a victim of a crime, they're not going to give her any leeway whatsoever. They're going to tow her car. They allow this. They allow RVs to park for these. They don't move. And anyway, that's not even the point of this video, but I'm just telling you where the area is that this is happening at. This is, and notice in the street, you got all these donut circles. This is like one of the areas they did street takeovers. Well, this should be a stoplight. Notice like, that's kind of weird, right? This stop sign that's up on this pole. That's not usually how stop signs work. Usually just on a smaller pole on the corner of the street. Well, that's because that's actually a light pole. Notice how there's a camera up here? Well, this is actually a light pole. There's supposed to be a stoplight there, but they can't keep one there because the tweakers keep stealing the copper. Oh, Oakland. It's fantastic. All right, let's see what KPIX Channel 5 has to say.
A drive on the busy East 12th Street, you'll come to this high-hanging stop sign above the road. Neighbors say city workers replaced the traffic lights with 4-way stop signs in the last week.
It just counts.
So that intersection directly ahead, the next stoplight, that burnt out RV that I just showed you is right here on the corner. And the video I opened up the show with, I was driving down this exact same street. There's a Burger King right here at the corner.
It's just telling us that the city is giving up on us.
And that across the street right there,
courtesy of
damn it. Right there across the street, that's a flower shop. It's at the end of where all these little shanty houses are built. This is a flower shop. It's so horrible. It's so freaking horrible.
Yes.
Courtesy of Google Earth, this was how the intersection looked before. But neighbors say those lights haven't worked in months. They were either blinking red or completely out.
This is a brand new solution to a problem that's taken many forms here.
Mason Young lives near the intersection. He believes the stop signs are better than non-working traffic lights, which he blamed for this crash that sent a truck into the fence of a repair shop.
We got to stop just putting Band-Aids on things. Although, a Band-Aid's better than bleeding out.
The city did try to fix the traffic light at least a few times. But once they fix it, normally within a week or so, it will go out again.
Tamley owns the corner auto repair shop, been here for over 25 years. He and neighbors blame the problem on repeated copper thefts. Also, they point out homeless people are stealing power from city electrical boxes. As you can see, someone is running a wire from this box to an RV. A city spokesman says they try to put heavy cement blocks on top of the boxes.
Like, it's not even an extension cord. It's just got two conductors. And it looks like he tried to bury it. He tried to like use some he tried to use like little ghetto asphalt and hide it in the pavement. Like he cut a notch out of the pavement or something. This is so freaking ghetto. Look at this. He got like Quickcrete or something and like ran the wire in the little crack here. It's not even an extension cord. This is a like single insulation, like single conductor wire. Oh my God. I'm not even an electrician and I can tell how bad this is. This is ridiculous.
Running a wire from this box to an RV. A city spokesman says they try to put heavy cement blocks on top of the boxes, but people just drag them out. The city says when people illegally connected cables to the boxes, they knocked out the traffic lights.
If you really want to fix the stop sign, I think you really have to clean up this homeless encampment.
That's easier said than done. The encampment stretches about 3 blocks on East 12th Street. The city tried to clear it out for the past 5 years, but it keeps coming back and gets bigger.
Many businesses already closed down on East 12, and I don't know how long we're gonna be here, because once they move to outside of the sidewalk, we will be gone.
All right. So people will ask, like, what's the solution then? How do you fix this? And Gavin Newsom's solution is like Prop 1, take more taxpayer money and build these giant, basically giant glorified homeless shelters, build housing, government funded housing. What does that sound like? Government funded housing sort of sounds like communism, but hey, let's keep going with it. So his solution is just we just need more housing. Well, are you just going to put drug addicts in housing and let them do the drugs in the housing? Or are you going to have any sort of rules in order for people to get into this housing? Oh, people that are behaving poorly like this, doing drugs. Like, what happens in these encampments? When they clean them out, they very often find bodies. You know how many women get raped in these encampments? The drug use, the drug dealing that goes on in these encampments. And I'm not talking about selling pot and drinking. I'm talking about hardcore fentanyl, heroin, crack, shooting up, all that stuff. And yes, women get raped. Like there's no law in these encampments. They're essentially little towns. Well, who runs it? It's survival of the fittest. The alpha male psycho dudes in there are the ones that are going to determine what's okay. So Gavin's solution is we just need to build housing, because then we can just take the people that are on the streets and put them into the housing, right? Real simple. Like it's just a numbers game, right? No, obviously not. You don't need to throw billions more dollars at this problem that's just going to go up in flames like that complex did in Redwood City that they just built, where it's billions of dollars down the drain, or like $250 million down the drain after this. I'll get to that in a minute. But it really isn't complicated. I mean, Oakland's always been seedy. It's always had, rough areas. That's actually part of the charm. Oakland's always been a tough city. It's always had crime, homelessness, drug use, all that kind of stuff. But you keep it to a minimum when you actually enforce the law. And you guys know how I feel about cops. I'm not the biggest fan of cops, especially because of the whole anarcho tyranny situation going on and how cops don't enforce certain laws, but they are happy to enforce other laws that seem to only affect the poor and the middle class. So that aspect of it, I can't stand. But if you have laws on the books that say, hey, you can't deal, like handing out the fentanyl needles, like just that by itself, stop handing out the fentanyl needles. That'll actually help the problem a little bit. Start arresting the hardcore drug dealers. Like they've allowed these encampments to grow to such a huge, terrible proportions, and they've gone so easy on enforcing laws that it's too dangerous for cops to go into these encampments now and try and break stuff up and arrest people. And they know that those people are just going to be let right out of jail. They're not going to be prosecuted, all that stuff. Gavin Newsom's emptying San Quentin. So everything they're doing is making the problem worse. And you don't need to throw tons more money at this problem. You have to start enforcing the law. Don't allow people to shoot up on the sidewalks. Go after the dealers that are, I mean, the libertarian solution would be legalize drugs and have people actually have markets where things are sort of regulated. And if you can, I'm not saying that, I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with this, but the idea is that if you have a shop that sells heroin, like the only reason people are doing fentanyl is because they can't get heroin. Like heroin is way better of a drug. I haven't done heroin, just to stay on the record. It's probably a better drug to do than fentanyl that rots your flesh. Like, well, it's not, it's trank. The people that think they're getting fentanyl, it's cut with trank. If they legalized drugs and there was actually shops that sold drugs, well, the shops that sold the best drugs that get you high and don't kill you, those are the shops that are going to succeed. The other ones are going to go under. So since it's outlawed, you've created this black market that people have to go to the underbelly of the city to get these drugs, and crime ensues. Anyway, put that out of the way. If you just say, hey, these drugs are illegal, like, if pot's basically legal now, mushrooms are legal now in Oakland, mushrooms are like actually legal from my understanding, but all these other drugs aren't. Why are you handing out needles for people to do drugs that say they're illegal to do on your books? It's a complete conflict of interest. The city that has laws on the books that said, hey, it's illegal to shoot up fentanyl. Here's a needle. What? And the dealer, we can't give you the drugs, but the dealer is right over there. The guy from Honduras that's here illegally. That's where you can go get the drugs from. Here's the tools to do the drugs. Nothing makes any sense. And these aren't new ideas that I'm coming up with. I'm not the only person pointing this stuff out. It's insane. It's actually insane what's happening. It's very logical, easy solutions to all of this. And no, you're never going to completely get rid of the problem. But if you have laws in the books that say, hey, you can't sell fentanyl, you can't consume fentanyl on the streets, and you stop handing out needles, and you start actually arresting people, and you have judges that's like, look, and bring back detoxes, have separate wings for people to recover. Like they say housing is the problem, just need to put all these homeless drug addicts in housing, and we need to detox them. Well, what's funny? That's a jail. We already have jails. If somebody's repeatedly doing drugs to the point that, and they're breaking the law to the point where it's affecting the entire rest of the city, we have institutions in place for this. Have separate wings that are specifically for the people that are detoxing off drugs. Throw them in there for a period of time for their first offense or whatever. Allow them to detox, go through some sort of program, have work release programs, all that kind of thing. All the stuff that we used to do, that where some people can actually get out of this hellhole that they've found themselves in, where they're addicted to drugs, they're on the street, they got no money, and the city keeps funding their addiction and giving them the tools they need to destroy themselves. What if we decided, hey, we shouldn't participate in the self-destruction of people anymore? What if we decided that as cities, as California government, and we said, hey, you know what? It did kind of work when we arrested people, drug addicts, put them in jail, and gave them a chance to detox, gave them good fluids, gave them food to eat, and gave them time alone in a cell to think about how to better their life, gave them access to books. And these are things we know work. But Gavin wants to build housing. And it's not to solve the problem. He'll say it's to solve the problem. It's not. It's to launder money. It's to launder taxpayer money. All of this stuff is so insanely insidious. I can't explain how insane and evil all of the shit that they're doing is. I can't talk about it enough. And it breaks my heart because I'm from here. I'm from the Bay Area. And it sucks. A lot of people are kids that are coming here from out of state, out of town, where we got the best weather. They're going to give you the needles. The drugs are the cheapest. Like, this isn't a good reputation to have. That's not a good tourist attraction, but that's what we've created. It's maddening. It's freaking maddening. All right, let's go over to Henry K. Lee here. Let me check the chat really quick. Sorry, that was quite a bit of a rant right there. Let's see. Casey Martin, homeless housing equals Lord of the Flies. You know what? I never read Lord of the Flies. I think that's a book you're supposed to read in school, and somehow I got through school without ever reading it. Northside, nice to see you. Fuck yeah, coach. Glad to see you working, big dog. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I can take you to the spots in Oakland that sell shrooms, coach. I don't need to do that. Yeah, and I get in and out of Oakland as fast as possible. Like I said, I'm up at 3:15 and I'm out the door at 4:15, and by the time I get home, it's 7. So it's like I can't be hanging out in Oakland any longer. I mean, I want to run around Lake Merritt once a week. That's my plan. So we're supposed to get off at 4:30. I can get off at 2:30 if I want to. So I might start running around Lake Merritt after work just to get my run in before I get on the road, before I would get home and I don't feel like doing it anymore. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, and if you guys are still watching, give that like button a tap, give it a repost over there on Twitter, all that good stuff. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. All that stuff helps the algorithm. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, this video is kind of crazy. So this is a dude just like he slammed VW into 5 months pregnant woman driving a Toyota at Arthur and Havens Court. Then he left while telling onlookers to be quiet. So look at this video here. And see, he's walking by some guy and he tells him to be quiet. So he just probably a stolen car. That's why he's walking away from it, and he knows he won't get in trouble. So crashes a stolen car into a pregnant woman, walks away from the accident and just tells this guy to be quiet. While the pregnant woman is screaming and crying.
Hell no. What the fuck? Hell no. Hell no. What the fuck? Hell.
Yeah, keep saying that. You're helping the situation a ton right there. Okay, let's keep going. So this is so again, like who the government will go after. Remember, this is it's just more examples of the anarcho tyranny. I talked about this story before, but 102-year-old Oakland man ordered to clean up graffiti on fence or pay thousands. So this 102-year-old man, here, let's just watch the video. So again, who the government goes after is people that they can extract money from. How many buildings have graffiti on them? This guy's got a wooden fence that somebody keeps tagging. They say they're going to fine him if he doesn't clean it up. He's 102. It's very similar to the lady that got the wheels stolen off of her car and they threatened to tow her vehicle. It's the same situation. This man's a victim of crime, vandalism. They're vandalizing his fence. And then the city says, hey, fix it or we're going to fine you. It's anarcho tyranny. It's another example of it. Same thing with the parking situation. You can have a broken down car in San Francisco. You can camp out in a parking spot that ordinarily you'd have to pay a meter at, or it's got a 2-hour parking limit. You can pitch a tent there and do fentanyl. But if somebody parks in a parking spot in Pacific Heights that's a 2-hour limit, they're going to get slapped with a $180 ticket because they're there to work. 3 different examples of anarcho tyranny. 1 in San Francisco, 2 in Oakland, right there. It's just right. This is off the top of my head. I mean, I've talked about all 3 of them on this episode, but you get the point. It's anarcho tyranny. Governments will go after people they can extract money from, and everybody else, criminals, drug dealers, homeless, addicted junkies, can do whatever they want. Street sideshows, Prop 47, they can walk into a store and steal whatever they want, up to $950, walk right out. No one's going to prosecute them. It's anarcho tyranny.
The home of a 102-year-old man targeted by vandals.
But then the city of Oakland cited the man who uses a wheelchair because of the graffiti. KTVU's Tom Vakar joins us now after spending some time with the man and his family. Tom?
You know, like enforcing any printed law, it takes judgment and discernment in knowing how Wheelchair-bound, Oakland-born, 102 years old, Victor Silva Sr. often finds graffiti painted onto his back fence of his Oakland home where he's lived and paid taxes for 80 years. Earlier this month, he got a violation citation from the city of Oakland to remove it by Tuesday the 19th or face an $1,100 fine plus an additional $1,277 for each failed reinspection.
It was so absurd. It's like a joke. If you drive around the city and see the graffiti everywhere, it's just, I don't know what to say.
I thought somebody's crazy.
In his younger years, before the wheelchair, he often painted over the graffiti himself.
Had a roller and a paintbrush and painted it. It was very, very easy. Because I was a contractor, you know. I'll be 103 in 2 months or so. That slowed up a little bit, you know.
These days, that task falls to his 70-year-old son, Victor Jr.
It's hard to keep up with it because as soon as we get it painted, it's going to be graffiti on it again. And it won't last.
But
right. Okay. She's going to point it out what I was about to say.
like you said, there's graffiti right there. Who's fixing that?
Now, this utility box has 6 different kinds of graffiti on it. I wonder if the utility got a citation. The family owns a nearby small commercial building which has been broken into 3 times in the last year. On one occasion, Victor Jr. found a person inside. In each case, he called 911.
And I'm put on hold every time. So it's hard to understand where our tax dollars are going.
There it is. Calls 911, gets put on hold. And he just says it right there. It's hard to understand where our tax dollars are going. It's the taxes that he pays to protect him against all this crap are being, laundered and lining the pockets of the people that donate to all these politicians' campaigns. Meanwhile, they'll extract more money through them or from them through fines and parking tickets.
They can't answer 911, but they can come out and ask you about a fence.
I had to ask, how does one live to 102 or 103?
Very easy. Just keep breathing and, behave yourself.
I would hate.
What a king.
To think that there's other 100-year-old people that are being harassed like this. Oakland has to change. It's just the system's not working.
The city inspector called me back and said he will do an immediate inspection and presumably cancel the citation. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And that's the only way this stuff changes, is if the city all of a sudden starts getting some bad PR about it. Otherwise, they would just keep going after the guy. It takes Tom Vakar to put him on blast and do a story about it for them to actually be like, yo, okay, we'll back off a little bit. It's the only reason. The only reason is because they got some bad PR. Thankfully, the internet is available, and it's the new Twitter, so this stuff won't get censored. But that's the only recourse people have. That's why I think it's so important to be talking about this stuff and putting it on blast, and everybody calling it out and putting it on the internet and pointing at all the terrible behavior and saying, look what government is allowing, and shining a giant spotlight on it. I really think that is the most powerful tool at our disposal. When people say, well, what are you going to do about it? This is what we're going to do about it. We're going to talk about it really loudly, and hopefully somebody highly influential can help us. Like, that's it. We just talk about it loudly. That's all we can really do. I mean, the other solution isn't a solution. And by the time it gets to that point, we're already gone. So I'm not willing to say California has fallen yet, but we're getting there. And this is the only way that I can tell to keep it from completely collapsing, is to shine a giant spotlight on all the madness that is taking place in this city. This isn't to blackmail people. This isn't to be, this isn't for like doom scrolling clicks and rage bait and all that kind of stuff. This stuff needs to be talked about. It has to be talked about. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going on. I mean, it's probably going to keep going on anyway. But this is the only way we can fight back. It's the only nonviolent way we can fight back. And I do not condone violence until it's necessary.
Now, again, it's important to say that the city says through an inspector that will actually go out and do this, and that should take care of it. It's very interesting. I also sent a note of an email to City Hall. No answer from them. Back to you.
Yeah, it's just an incredible story. When that man said, they can't answer 911, but they are out writing citations for, people who are 102 about graffiti on their property. So it seems like this, at least in this case, Tom, this has been cleared up for this man.
Well, we'll see. It's still subject to reinspection. And you have to realize, these organizations, these big cities, so compartmentalized, they each go out and they do their own thing. And then that is as it should be. But sometimes you have to really start thinking about who are we really affecting here, or stories like this end up on the air and it doesn't do the city any good.
No, it sure doesn't. Well, I'm glad you did the story on him. Tom, thank you.
Oh, boy, it's frustrating. That sure is frustrating. All right. So much like London Breed, oops, what did I do there? My bad. I'm going to stop sharing, didn't I? Oh, boy. So frustrating. So I was just going to show a picture of Shanty Towns with Kamala Harris was in town, and she's talking about how great Oakland is. Shanty Towns is the mayor of Oakland, and she's getting recalled right now, but you just always hear her talking about, how great the city is and racism. That's where her priorities are at. It's same old from these insane people. So, all right, well, let's go over some more California stuff. So that was just Oakland and San Francisco. Talked for 90 minutes just about Oakland and San Francisco. So you guys are still in the chat. Let me know. I'd like to hear from you guys. You guys kind of dried up over there. Just want to know that you're still there. I'm not just talking to myself. All right. Yeah. Let's go over to Sacramento Insider. I think this was Sacramento Insider's first viral post here. If you guys don't follow him, you should. It's a great California account. But this post kind of blew up for him. 50,000 views. It's a pretty big deal for a smaller account. And it's, he just put on display the Gavin Newsom hypocrisy is what he's putting on display.
Checking out, the woman says,
So this is Gavin Newsom talking about his experience at Target. All right. This is a few months ago. And this is like leaked video. This isn't him actually talking to a newscaster. This is him talking off camera how he would talk to his fellow colleagues. This isn't him. He didn't think this was going to go on to camera. This is like a Zoom meeting, but he's explaining the experience that he had at Target, which I don't believe. I don't believe Gavin Newsom was out there actually shopping by himself at Target.
checking out, the woman says, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that. I said, well, why are you stopping? She goes, the governor. Swear to God, true story. On my mom's grave. The governor lowered the threshold.
Swear to God, true story on my mom's grave. Do you guys believe him? Sorry, I've clicked something.
Checking out, the woman says, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that. I said, well, why are you stopping? She goes, the governor. Swear to God, true story. On my mom's grave. The governor lowered the threshold. There's no accountability. I said, that's just not true. And I said, we have the 10th toughest, $950, the 10th toughest in America. She doesn't even know what I was talking about. By the way, it's the 10th toughest in America.
What does that even mean? We have a $950. It's the 10th toughest. What are you saying right there? Because to me, it sounds like you are clearly stating what Prop 47 says is if you steal less than $950, it's just a misdemeanor, and the district attorneys aren't going to prosecute misdemeanors for theft. So you've decriminalized theft under $950. It seems like you are acknowledging that fact and then telling her that it's not true at the same time and bragging about that it's the 10th toughest somehow. What is he even saying? This gaslighting psychopath. And I'm not sure if he's evil and he's just lying through his teeth. It's probably a combination of the two, or he's just so insulated from this crap that he doesn't actually believe that it's happening. I don't know what this is.
Look it up. No one gives a damn about that. And I said, it's just not true. There's still stop. They said, well, we don't stop them because of the governor. And then she looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, no, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation. Where's your manager? How are you blaming the governor? And it was.
Oh, Karen wants to talk to the manager now. What a dick.
$380 later. And I was like, why am I spending $380? Everyone can walk the hell right out. We're checking out the woman.
Great point, Gavin. Yeah, that's a great point. It's so frustrating. All right, let's fast forward.
The potential
Let's fast forward to this week. This is him talking about reforming basically repealing Prop 47.
The potential repeal of Prop 47 off the ballot.
So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of negotiations concurrently happening parallel. So among many of them, Prop 47 is included.
Are you all just not confident that if it hits the ballot that voters will approve it?
It's just I don't think there's a need to have it on the ballot. Why have something on the ballot that doesn't actually achieve the goals that are intended? Why do something that can't be done legislatively with more flexibility? I think it's a better approach to governing.
So you'll sign the legislation that might carry those inoperable clauses?
I will not tell you what I'm going to sign until it lands on my desk, because it's a process that's constantly evolving. But
Gavin constantly says he will sign bills before they've landed on his desk. So that's just a lie right there.
As you know well, better than most, we initiated and launched a package of bills working in partnership with both houses of the legislature that have been fantastic in terms of addressing the legitimate concerns that we've been highlighting for years now around retail theft, but also broadly organized retail theft.
Notice what he says there? We launched a series of bills. Okay, this is his poison pill that people are talking about. So let's go over to Jeff Reisig here on the X platform. So this is the same video that I just played, so I'm not going to play the video, but this is what Jeff has to say here. So he says, urgent message to all California police chiefs, sheriffs, DAs, and law enforcement officers. An imminent threat to our combined efforts to reform Prop 47 has been stealthily and cynically launched by the governor and some Sacramento politicians and lobbyists in a move that even some Democrat lawmakers have described as deceitful, immoral, and undemocratic. We need your immediate assistance and advocacy. Here's the situation. Days ago, proponents of the Homelessness, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act, a people's initiative that will qualify for the November 24 ballot, learned that Gavin's office directed Sacramento lawmakers to insert a poison pill provision into their current package of bills dealing with retail theft and other crimes. The purpose of the governor's poison pill language in the crime bill is to guarantee, subject to legislative votes, an automatic repeal of those same laws should the People's Initiative be enacted by voters on November 24. This unprecedented and unethical gamesmanship is designed to punish the voters of California and anyone who might support the enhanced accountability sought by the People's Initiative to amend Prop 47, which goes much further than the legislation to effectively address the fentanyl/drug retail theft and homelessness crisis. In addition, this poison pill, if successfully passed, will immediately trigger a critical rewrite of the official title and summary of the People's Initiative by the California Attorney General. This is what voters will see on the ballot. This is the potential political kill shot they seek. As you know, a negative amended title and summary by the AG as a result of the poison pill legislation could irreparably doom the People's Initiative. This is 100% their goal. This perversion of democracy is their play. On Tuesday, June 11th, the bills with new poison pill language will begin to be voted upon by politicians in the Capitol. Urgent action request. Contact your representative associations, contact your respective association leaders and lobbyists, and ensure they oppose any crime bills that contain new poison pill unless that language is removed. Contact your lawmakers and urge them to oppose the poison pill perversions. Dems and Republicans both know this 11th hour plot is undemocratic. Remind them, inform your businesses, community, and constituents of this outrageous situation and ask them to contact lawmakers. In close, many of us have spent our entire professional lives fighting side by side for truth, justice, victims, and our communities across California. Thank you for standing for principles. All right, I feel like he didn't do a very good job of explaining what this poison pill will actually do. So it's basically like it gives it sets like extenuating circumstances to where they wouldn't have to actually enforce the law. So if they tried to repeal Prop 47, it would technically still be in place for certain swaths of the population, mainly drug addicted homeless people, that if they still steal, it would basically make it null and void, is what this poison pill would do. So it's like Gavin at the same time, it's like he speaks out of both sides of his mouth all the time, especially with this Prop 47 stuff. I don't know if he's lying or ignorant or both. It's hard to tell. All right, so let's listen to El Salvador's President Bukele. He says that there are obvious signs of American decline. He cites one glaring example: California. $15 billion to build a 600-meter piece of railway not even working, and it took 10 years. Empire State Building took 1 year. Is that true? They built the Empire State Building in 1 year. So he's talking about the high-speed rail in California that only has apparently 600 meters of track laid. Like they've built other infrastructure, like viaducts and overpasses and stuff like that, like the hard pieces. But this is supposed to be a train from San Francisco to LA. The only thing they're going to have completed is the easiest stretch of it, where California is completely freaking flat out in the Central Valley. So it's going to be from Bakersfield to Fresno, or like Turlock to Fresno or something. It's not a long, I don't even know if it's going to be high speed. It's like, that's what they're going to point at as a victory, when this thing was supposed to, they built this huge, beautiful, train station, like a transfer station in San Francisco, in the middle of the financial district, right by Millennium Tower, across from the Salesforce Tower. It's beautiful, and it's doing nothing. So this train's supposed to go from San Francisco to LA. That was the whole sell of the train. That's why Californians wanted it. It's because it'd be a really fast train from San Francisco to LA. And in my mind, that still sounds cool. I mean, yeah, flights are cheaper, but if I could take like Caltrain to the San Francisco train station in X amount of time and then get to LA in a couple of hours on this train, and I could do work the whole time, and it's, cheaper than a flight, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I still like the idea, but not 15 years later, 20 years later, at this billions and billions of dollars. It's this huge money laundering operation. That's all this is, again. And the offshore wind project is going to be even worse than that. But let's listen to the president of El Salvador talking about how corrupt our California government is, how corrupt and ineffective our California government is. So this is him talking to Tucker.
But I saw, somebody showed me the 600-meter railway that was built in California. And it cost $15 billion, something like that, to build the 600-meter piece of railway that they were building.
It's a lot per meter.
Yes. So, I mean, you cannot go on. I mean, it's like obvious. It's like somebody eats too much, right? I mean, you can be a little fat, right? It's fine. But then if somebody's morbidly fat, it's
Sorry, Mahanish, nice to see you. I'm not sure if you're still watching. Hope you had fun at the Libertarian Convention. That's funny. Your comment there isn't very libertarian, is it? Must not only arrest them, but keep them in jail. Oh boy, you're gonna get the libertans. I think you'll get that joke. You're gonna get the libertans mad at you for saying that, Mahanish. Hope you're doing well.
the time somebody will come and say, okay, I mean, you have to stop, right? Because your heart can't take it anymore, right? You have to stop. Or
oh wait, no, Mahanis, you're Cali girl, aren't you? Yeah, no, I got you mixed up. Yeah, I got you mixed up with somebody. Sorry about that.
somebody that drinks, I don't drink, but if somebody drinks, doctor might say, your liver can't take that anymore. Look at your liver, how it is right now, or the lungs for smoker, whatever. When you see things like that, 600 meters of railway, $15 billion, 10 years. There's no other possible diagnosis. I mean, you have to stop that fast now, because if not, the decline is inevitable. It's inevitable. I mean, it's already there. It's not like I'm telling you, I foresee. No. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's $15 billion to make a 600-meter piece of railway that's not even working. In 10 years, the Empire State was built in a year. 1 year, they built the Empire State. Things were working, right? I don't know how were things back then. I don't know, but they built the Empire State in 1 year. What happened with the World Trade Center, Freedom Tower? They was changed the name that later to World Trade Center. How long did it take?
Forever.
Yeah, and it was the whole country united to build it. There was no budgetary. I mean, I know it was private, but it was no if it needed budgetary. It was not a problem of budget or investors willing to pour money on it or engineers. I mean, why would it take over a decade to build something that was so significant for the whole country? I mean, you could build the tallest building in the world. You didn't. You could have built the tallest building in the world and said, okay, we're coming back bigger and stronger. We're going to build, we got a hit, but now we're going to build back better and stronger, build back better and stronger, right? Or whatever. And build it, 2-mile high skyscraper. I'm not a fan of 2-mile high skyscrapers, but you could have done that. I mean, you have the money, you have the resources, you have the engineers, you have the market. Because if I built a mile skyscraper, I can fill with offices because I don't have enough market to fill with residences and offices or whatever. You do have the market in New York to build offices, and you want hotel rooms. I mean, it would feel like this. But you didn't. You took over a decade to build a very unimpressive building. So, and that was 23 years ago?
Yes.
Now you're building 600-meter railways with $15 billion. So how long it would take to rebuild the Baltimore Bridge? It should take a year.
How long would it take here?
Here?
Yeah.
A year. 2 years. And we're a small, poor country. I mean, we're one of the poorest nations in the world, right?
No, that's why this is so shameful and interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the U.S. has they have still unlimited amounts of resources because you can just print money, right? That's another topic, but you can just print whatever, how much it's worth. I mean, would you want to do it? But we want to build it made of gold. I mean, you can do anything, right? You just, how much?
Why did the World Trade Center take over 10 years to rebuild? Why? I mean, I think it's because of, red tape and inefficiency, just not good leadership. But 10 years. Did they really build the Empire State Building in 1 year? I almost want to fact check him on that. But he makes some very good points there, doesn't he? So it's the whole situation's kind of interesting, isn't it? Jim Freeman, they haven't even designed the sections that will go over the mountains into LA. Well, it won't go over the mountains. It'll go through the mountains. They got to bore a tunnel. And it's not just those mountains. They got to go through they got to bore a few tunnels. I mean, yeah, this is it's not just that mountain range that they would have to bore through. Yeah, they're not going to go over it. They got to go through it. And that's like one of the giant obstacles is boring tunnels. And I mean, Elon was originally looking at that. I mean, hey, wait a minute. Don't we have a California resident? California citizen that happens to own a company that's what they do. They bore holes through things. Why didn't we consult him? Symbolic T, the Empire State Building was built in 1 year and 45 days per their website. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. It's a magnificent building. That is crazy. You can't get a building that tall built that fast nowadays. There's no way. Very interesting. I wonder how many people died building the Empire State Building. I imagine it's quite a few. They had much more lax safety standards back then. So, I will say, like, making the project take a little bit longer to save lives and that kind of thing. All right, that's good. But yeah, what's really going on? It's interesting. Okay. Bukele really seems to get what is needed in these times. Northside, I 100% agree. Corrupt governor belongs in prison? Yes. Or worse. I can't stand Gavin Newsom. He is a criminal. He is absolutely a criminal. All right. Okay, I already talked about that one. So there was a mass shooting in Sacramento. Did you guys hear about that one? So let's go over to KTVU Fox 2. Sacramento mass shooter suspect found dead in jail cell report. The suspected gunman behind a deadly mass shooting in Sacramento has died while in custody, according to reports. The inmate who has died, identified as Smiley Martin, according to KCRA. The Sacramento sheriff did not identify the inmate, but said a 29-year-old man died while in custody at the Sacramento County main jail while he was in custody since April 20th, 2022. Okay. The public defender team representing Martin is deeply saddened by his unexpected death. It is most tragic that Mr. Martin passed away fighting to defend his innocence in the preliminary hearing process, said Norman Dawson, KCRA, Martin's public defender. Oh, jeez. Martin was charged with murder, possession of a firearm by a felon, and possession of a machine gun. How did he get those weapons? That's weird. Gavin Newsom made those illegal. Well, the machine gun was made illegal in the 80s. How did he get those? Crazy. It's almost like gun laws don't work. He was one of the 12 injured in the mass shooting that claimed the lives of 6 people on April 3rd, 2022. Okay. When a gang feud turned deadly. Okay. This isn't a mass shooting. This is a gang feud. And I'm getting sick of them conflating the two things. Like, whenever Columbine was a mass shooting, and that's what everybody thinks of when they hear mass shooting. They think of a gunman or a set of gunmen going into a building and gunning down innocent people for apparently no reason. Not a gang shootout. Like, this isn't the same freaking thing. And I swear they do it for propaganda reasons, so they can put that check mark next to mass shooting so they can justify more gun laws. When this was a gang shootout with guns that he's a felon, he's not supposed to have it. He's got a machine gun that's been illegal since the 80s. And I guarantee the other weapons that he had maybe his AR had a pistol grip on it. He probably had a 30-round magazine, all that stuff. Everything was illegal. And then they categorize this as a mass shooting so they can go and cheer for more gun laws. It drives me insane. All right. I'm not even going to spend any more time on this one because this is just, I got way too much other stuff that I want to cover. So I'm not even going to, so guy that got in a gang shootout died in jail. All right, whatever. That's the story. I'm not even going to spend any more time on it. Let's instead talk about something more pressing. So this is from Bill Mulligan. He says, new at 1:30 a.m. this morning. This is from June 4th. New at 1:30 a.m. this morning, we witnessed an enormous mass illegal crossing of hundreds of people from around the world into Jacumbra, California. In San Diego County, we encountered men from Mauritania, special interest aliens, Nepal, India, China, Vietnam, and many others. No Mexicans. No one from Mexico? Oh boy, this is insane. And you know, they were reporting earlier that Biden said that he's going to be putting a stop to this. Basically, he's going to do something at the border that's going to, like, first they announced it and it was like, oh, you could have done this at any time, and then you look further into it and it's like, oh, he's only limiting the amount of people that they're going to process. So he's actually not doing anything. It's insane. But let's watch this video. Look at all these people just walking right over. Like, our border's still wide open, you guys. I've done full episodes on this, but our border's still just wide open. Look at this. I'm seeing a lot of Middle Eastern looking people. All these people look Middle Eastern. Oh boy. I wonder if any of these people, these hundreds of people that are coming over, are the people that say death to America.
150?
Yeah, there's a lot. You know, our greatest ally, Israel, has a border wall, and it's patrolled with robots that have machine guns attached to them. And they will shoot people that come within a certain distance of that wall. Doesn't America have enemies that hate America just as much as Palestinians hate Israelis? Don't we? Why? Why is it? Jesus. It's insane.
And what, one border patrol agent?
Oh, it's so insane. It is so freaking insane. All right, let's keep going here. So, California drivers, you're going to be excited about this one. This is a longer. There's only one law that this guy talks about that I'm not going to play this whole video. I'm just going to talk about one law. But you know that in LA and in the Bay Area, in Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, they are going to deploy speeding cameras. Remember how red light cameras was the thing back in the day? Like, just it bust you going through an intersection through a red light. Well, now they're going to have speeding cameras. And if you're going 11 miles over the speed limit, it's like $100-something bucks. If you're going like 26 miles over the speed limit, it's like 500. It's a tier system. And 11 miles over the speed limit. So if you're going 76 miles an hour, how many of you guys cruise at 80 miles an hour? Huh? You little speed demons? Huh? How many of you guys? 77 miles an hour, you're getting a fat ass ticket in the mail. And if you don't pay your ticket, your license gets suspended. If you can't afford to pay your ticket, now you can't get to work. California's going to do this shit. So let's go over to LA in a minute. This is the account. LA in a minute.
What is up? This is your LA in a minute. And as the calendar turns to 2024, more than 24 new laws are going into effect in Los Angeles and California, including the use of speed cameras to fine speeding drivers as much as $500. I want to talk about that and some of the significant new laws going onto the books. Let's get into it. About those speed cameras, it's a pilot program and it's not going to be implemented for at least a couple months, but it's going to be utilized in Long Beach, Glendale, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland in areas near schools with a lot of car crashes or places known for street racing. Drivers can be fined.
Okay, so that's where it's a pilot program, so that's where they're going to deploy it at first. Guaranteed. They already got a bunch of these cameras in place. Guaranteed. They just Highway 880 between San Jose and Oakland. So like between Highway 238, between Highway 880 and 238 and Highway 880 and 101, or more like 237 and Highway 101. So like Milpitas and like the edge of San Leandro, that stretch, they just put in all those new crazy LED lights. They put in the fast track lane. Remember, it used to just be a carpool lane. Now it's a fast track lane, so you could pay to get into that lane. And they made it a double white line. So now there's like exits and entrances of that one lane that even on the weekend when the lane's open to everybody, now you have to wait for the entrance and the exit, which causes more traffic. Yeah, they just did all that stuff. And they got these crazy LED lights and all that shit. They put tons of money into that stuff. Meanwhile, the road is still shit. Meanwhile, like there's still like massive potholes in the road. And there's like gravel flying up. People are getting cracked windshields. But they got the infrastructure in place to make sure that they can extract more money from you, so they got all that. So I guarantee you they already got all these cameras in place that can detect your speed and give you tickets. Also, one police department I guarantee you they haven't taken money from in California, Highway Patrol. Why? Because the Highway Patrol extracts the most money from their citizens through speeding tickets, through all that kind of shit. Everything the California government does is to extract more money from the poor, from the middle class, and everybody else can run roughshod on the entire state. Steal, deal fentanyl, commit crime, all that stuff. But if you're a law-abiding citizen just trying to get your job, that's why the California middle class is just being destroyed. All this stuff needs to change. Did I mention that I'm saving up for... Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to say that. But these cameras... It'd be a shame if people disabled these cameras somehow in a certain way. Yeah, it'd be a shame. No, I don't promote anybody doing that, of course, at all. But cameras, are very vulnerable to all sorts of things. I know, because I install a lot of cameras, and they're very susceptible to all sorts of things, especially 22 round. Yeah, anyway.
And $50 for speeding 11 to 15 miles an hour over the limit, and charges can be as high as $500 for going more than 100 miles an hour. Another new law is regarding cannabis. Specifically, it makes it unlawful for an employer to discriminate against a person in the hiring, termination, or any condition of employment for utilizing cannabis.
Interesting. All right. I'm not even going to talk about all the other laws because I don't really care that much about them, but that was the important one. So, let's talk about housing a little bit more. Actually, before, let's see. Okay, no, I'll read this before I get to the Redwood City thing. But so this is from Dr. Human David Hamedi. California needs an immediate moratorium on all homeless housing development. I agree, 100%. Let's see what his reasoning behind that is. A major scandal has revealed that the depths of the homeless industrial complex in California with evidence Step Up on Second has been pocketing with evidence Step Up on Second. I guess that's the organization. Has been pocketing millions of homeless dollars with many empty and non-existent projects. Per the LA Times, last month, a state audit found that California hasn't adequately tracked the outcome of $24 billion. This isn't a country. This is California. The state of California can't find $24 billion that they've allocated to solving the homeless crisis. Okay, let's continue. It's spent on programs to fight homelessness, including Project Home Key. Oh, okay. And okay. Gavin Newsom brags about that project all the time. Over the last 5 years. $24 billion over the last 5 years, all under Gavin Newsom's tenure. The 7 housing projects by Shangri-La and Step Up offer one example of how difficult it can be to balance urgency and oversight. Shangri-La received its Home Key grants directly up front, according to the Department of Housing and Community Development. This was the program structure to disperse upfront in order to quickly acquire projects, said a spokesperson from the department. What exactly happened to more than $114 million that Shangri-La received is unclear, but court proceedings, including the recent filings involving Step Up, have begun to reveal some possible answers. People need to go to prison. Like, this is robbing California citizens. This is infuriating. A complaint accuses Holmes of stealing money meant for affordable housing and spending it on personal expenses, including a $46,000 a month rental home in Beverly Hills, Louis Vuitton and Chanel handbags, and a $5,000 monthly lease for a Ferrari portfolio, and taking out loans against Shangri-La properties to cover up his alleged embezzlement. Holmes' attorney has yet to respond in court and did not respond to the request for comment from the Times. This is infuriating. It's infuriating. How much money went back into Gavin Newsom's nonprofits that he has set up, or other politicians that launder money in the same way? So it's the same. So they take these taxpayer-funded dollars, they give them to these organizations that are run by this guy like Holmes, right? And they spend the money, and also to grease the wheels on the back end. So this is probably like why was this Shangri-La organization the one that was awarded this affordable housing project? Why this organization? Was it a no bid contract? Was there a bunch of different companies bidding for the rights to build these low income housing units? Or were these the people that donated the most to Gavin Newsom's campaign or other politicians' campaigns? It's the circular thing where it's like we're gonna get California, we're gonna propagandize California voters into voting for this thing that is gonna help the homeless, give us tons of money to allocate towards building stuff, go to a third-party company, give them tons of money up front before they built shit, and then they have to put money back in the politicians' pockets, essentially. It's money laundering. That's all this stuff is. All of these giant government projects, including the high-speed rail, including the upcoming offshore wind project, and what he's talking about here, the homeless industrial complex. All these non-governmental organizations are robbing, and politicians are robbing the middle-class Californians blind. I haven't even finished reading this article yet, and I'm triggered as hell. According to the agreements between Shangri-La and Step Up obtained by the Times, Step Up stood to earn 15% to 25% of potential future profits on the project, as well as a $3,000 per unit pre-development fees on some of the building upon closing. We are being scammed. Okay, now this is back to Dr. David Ameti. We are being scammed. Time to end this immediately and acknowledge that this entire process has been one gargantuan failure. For a small fraction of the money we could have already spent, we can still solve many of the problems. It may not make developers extraordinarily wealthy, but it will address our budget deficit while also solving so many problems that we are faced today. It's infuriating. This is freaking infuriating. All right. Now, you want to see what happens? So this will piss you off even more, guys. So this is from Janelle Wang. She is with NBC Bay Area. She says, update, firefighters call it a total loss. Fire destroys 179-unit affordable housing complex under construction in unincorporated Redwood City on Middlefield Road. No injuries reported. Neighboring homes saved. 179-unit affordable housing complex. Total loss. All right, let's go to this one. So this is the video. This is a giant building that they built, and you can see it's just burnt down to the frame. They're calling it a total loss. So this is what we got. So, and remember, California government is suing Long Beach right now. Is it Long Beach or Huntington Beach? I think it's Huntington Beach, actually. In order for them to get permits to build shit, they have to make sure that X percentage of those permits are for affordable housing. Well, here's your affordable housing up in flames. And you just heard Dr. Human David Ameti talking about the embezzlement of money that Project Home Key and Prop 1, this is going to be the exact same shit. They take California taxpayer money, and this isn't money that they printed. California doesn't have a Federal Reserve. Sure, they get money from the federal government, but a lot of this is just taxpayer dollars that they just give to these non-governmental organizations, and they blow it on whatever they want. Now, a lot of people are saying, sorry, just an 18-second video. A lot of people are saying there needs to be an investigation into this because, contractors have insurance on these buildings. So was this arson, or was this, hey, we are out of our budget on this building, and if it burns to the ground, we know that insurance will pay for it, basically. If this was done privately, if this was a private complex of houses built and it went up in flames, and it would be the investor that's out the money. Well, he would get backed by insurance money, but this isn't California taxpayers losing the money. And again, these houses are just being built. These 179 units are being built for affordable housing. This is what they are saying is going to solve the homeless crisis. We just need homes. That's all we need. We just need homes. We don't need to enforce the law. We just need to have more homes so we can take the junkie that's living out of a trailer because he wants to be able to do crack, and we just put him into this home. No conditions. How does this make sense to anyone? None of this stuff makes any sense whatsoever. Let's go to the article. This is from NBC Bay Area. So some evacuees cleared to return home after Eidolon fire in Redwood City. And I smelled this the other day. I was coming down 880 past the San Jose airport, and I was just like, I smell fire. So it got all the way over here. A massive fire at a building under construction forced evacuations Monday in Redwood City. More than 5 hours after the fire started, they were unable to contain the fire to the originating structure, according to the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. Although under control, the area is under a 24-hour fire watch. No injuries have been reported. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the money. How much money? Let's see. 200 individuals were evacuated. 100 construction workers were in the building, and they self-evacuated. Okay, so I wouldn't think this would be the company trying to burn it to the ground to collect insurance money. I wouldn't think they would do it while they have their employees in the building. I just want to get to the monies. How much money was lost here? Let's see. Oh, hold on. Hi, Chiba. Okay, construction of the $155 million affordable housing project was expected to be completed by the first quarter of 2025. So $155 million, there it is, down the drain. Taxpayer dollars. That's it, right there. Who's going to get that money back? The builder, not California taxpayers. Sorry, my dog's freaking out a little bit over here. All right, I think I got to let her out. Let's go to the next one. Hopefully it's a video that I can play for you guys so I can let my dog out. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here. Let's go to this. You guys watch this. This is a guy just opening fire on random cars over in, here, I'll read it really quick. Father of four executed as gunman walks down California street, indiscriminately firing at random cars. Julio Retarde was arrested on suspicion of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder after firing 30 shots and taking his clothes off. The despicable act was triggered after Rodarte reportedly tried buying a shot of liquor at a nearby market but didn't have enough money. He then left and started firing at cars before taking his clothes off. Multiple cars were damaged. One man was injured, and 42-year-old Victor Hugo Leon was killed. Leon was on his way home after a night shift. Unbelievable. Why didn't Gavin Newsom's gun laws stop this? So it looks like he's got an extended magazine on there. Looks like it jammed on him. So yeah, you just see him firing at random cars. Just what the hell? Why didn't Gavin Newsom's gun law stop this, you guys? See, if we were in the society that I want to live in, somebody would have saw this. So, yeah, okay, so extended magazine. So this is a pistol. Look at, so you can see the length of his hand. This is clearly an extended magazine. Oh, okay, well, it's a pistol. He said he fired 30 rounds. Boom, right there. So it's an illegal firearm. According to California laws, you can only have 10 rounds in your magazine. If it was the California I would like to live in, it would be anyone can carry a firearm that wants to carry a firearm. Anyone. So that means anyone could have got out of their car and engaged this man. Some people are saying, like, why didn't somebody run them over? Well, because, I mean, you can shoot through a windshield. Like, if you saw he was firing right at cars. It's like, so yeah, that happened. Just freaking insane. California is insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, let's see what's Gavin Newsom doing. So let's go over to George. The hits he tweets is the account here. So he says, breaking, amidst the worst crime wave in California history, Gavin Newsom has announced massive budget cuts to law enforcement courts, the state's Department of Justice, and the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. It includes a $97 million cut to trial court operations, $10 million to the Department of Justice's Division of Law Enforcement, and more than $80 million to the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation in total. Almost $200 million will be taken away. Okay. Keep in mind, Newsom has spent over $24 billion fighting homelessness in the last 5 years. Remember, $24 billion that they can't account for. That we just talked about this. That 24 billion, and they're taking away 200 million from law enforcement, courts, correctional facilities, and again, not locking up criminals, emptying prisons. It's like, is Gavin intentionally trying to destroy California? Like, you have to ask at a certain point. I mean, Gavin Newsom isn't stupid. He's a horrible, evil person, but he's not stupid. He knows what the result of all of this is going to be. This really feels like collapse is the goal. Keep in mind, Newsom has spent over $24 billion fighting homelessness. He put fighting in parentheses, homelessness in the last 5 years, and just got voter approval through Proposition 1 to spend another $6.4 billion. So that's what Prop 1 did. That they remember in the primary election that we just had, they slid Prop 1 in there, probably because they know that they couldn't get it passed in the general election in November. But remember, it took them 6 weeks to count all these ballots, Proposition 1 passed by like 51%. I don't believe it was passed. I believe California elections are rigged, completely rigged. No voter ID. Universal mail-in ballots. Like, that's the big one. Universal mail-in ballots. COVID gave them the excuse to mail everybody a ballot. Of course, that just stays now. Don't need to require ID. Why? Because apparently Democrats think it's harder for black people to get ID. That's the reason. That's the reason behind it. Like Kathy Hochul thinking that black people don't know what computers are. Remember that? That happened last week. It's okay. California is already a third world country, but it's about to get even worse. Yeah. So it's fucking madness. It's just madness. Everything they do. It's just absolute madness. So many people just don't even know tons of this stuff is happening. We go to another sideshow. Like, this is what you get. This is what you get on the weekends. Actually, even on the weekdays. It's California summer. California summer 2024 is here, and it is going to get wild, folks. I would avoid. I mean, a lot of people say avoid cities altogether, but if it's on the weekend and it's late night, coming back from a concert or whatever, I mean, know your route, know the intersections that you're supposed to go through. Check your maps before you get in your car and just start driving. You do not want to get caught in one of these right here. Don't get caught in one of these. There's another angle to this video, and the passenger gets out of the car and starts running, and they beat the piss out of him. I don't know what happened to these guys. For me, it looks like they were actually part of this sideshow. So if you guys go to an event in Oakland, in San Francisco, in LA, and you're just going to drive back home, and it's late, it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, midnight, whatever, know your route. Check your maps before. Is there something weird going on at an intersection? You can see on your maps where it's red, like where there's traffic and stuff. Take the back streets. Avoid. I mean, you never know when stuff like this is going to pop off, but do everything that you can to avoid these types of situations. You do not want to accidentally come into one of these intersections. And I mean, even though like Daniel Perry, I can't remember if it was Daniel Perry, Daniel Penny, but like the guy that freaking drove into a Black Lives Matter protest in, I think it was in Austin back in 2020, and some dude walked up on him with an AK, and he started raising the muzzle towards him, and well, he pulled out his firearm, and it wasn't even a Magnum. I think it was like 5 or 6 rounds, and he killed the guy. Guy has a rifle, and he started aiming it at him. He pulls his weapon and kills the guy. Well, he's in prison now, and I think he's going to serve 25 years for that. I would still say you're probably better off using deadly force in this type of situation. If like this guy's trapped, he can't get out of there. If they start beating on him, I mean, at that point, you are, I don't know. Stay strapped, folks. This shit is getting wild. It's getting completely freaking wild. All right, that's the last of the California insanity stuff that I have to talk about. But I got more. Folks. We're going long tonight. It's Sunday. I haven't streamed all week. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and yeah, there's all sorts of stuff to talk about. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go until I get through all of it. Yeah, we'll go over to Robbie Starbuck here. Let me check the chat. I haven't checked the chat in a while. Let's see here. Liz, New Jersey is also not allowed to ask for ID at the polls. Unreal. Matty Bracco, say it ain't so. Nice to see you, dude. Liz, the citizens suffer for it. None of this stuff makes any sense to the rational person, but these people know what they are doing. Yes, like it's like collapse is the goal. Let's see. Oh, Jim Freeman, Shangri-La. Okay, all right, whatever. I don't say things perfectly. My bad. Michael Letter, is there affordable housing in Santa Cruz? Yeah, there is. Right at the intersection of like River Street and Highway 1. They built a bunch of like small homes and stuff like that. It's not affordable housing. They built like a tiny home community. I mean, the first thing they did before they built all this stuff, like 10 years ago, they built, and I shit you not, like coffins. They're like boxes that were like the shape of coffins that were like 2 or 3 times as tall as coffins, but they had a tiny little door on them and a window, and they just put them along the river. And I don't know how they decided who gets to have the boxes, but they allowed people to live out of them. They painted them all sorts of fancy colors and stuff. And I shit you not, they look like coffins. I have pictures of them. There's posts. Go to my X account and just like go to my profile and search for a keyword. Just search coffins. Yeah. Or homeless coffins or something like that. You'll find pictures of it. In fact, I almost want to go right now just to show you guys really quick. Let me see. You know what? I don't think you can do it on the website. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it doesn't allow you to do it. It only allows you to do it from the app. You can't go to somebody's account and search keywords from a desktop. You can only do it from the app. But if you're on your phone and you go to my account, that was their first solution for homeless in Santa Cruz. They built like these boxes and they like padlocked them to like a tree or some shit. Some of them were just sitting in the mud. You can only imagine how nasty these things would get after a few years. And they were there forever. And I started talking about them often. I noticed them because they were along my running route on the levee from, like, you guys, Santa Cruz people, the levee along the San Lorenzo River. They had them all over the place. And I started talking about them a lot and take pictures and putting them on the internet. I'm not saying I'm responsible, but after I started talking about them a lot, lo and behold, they're gone now. So weird. The homeless coffin boxes are gone now. I don't know what happened to them. So yeah, that's happening. Northside, damn. So now when someone steals my car, I will have speeding tickets. Yeah, exactly. RGS, what up, homie? Nice to see you. Glad you got over there to Arlington. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool seeing you over there with Phil. Northside, once you realize you're driving towards a sideshow, change directions. Well, most people don't realize it until they're in it, So yeah, it's bad. Avoid those situations. The RGS, hanging out with the Liberty survivors all weekend. Wish you were there. If you're going again, you know what? If that happens next year, I will go. I will find a way to go. Yeah, that would be fun. I need to start going to more stuff in person. Yeah. I want to make this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Talking, like going down, figuring out what's going on and telling you guys what I think is going on. I'm not supposed to, I'm so glad I have work right now. It's really well-paying work. It's union work. It could only be for 4 weeks. I don't know. It was a 4-week job call that I took. If they keep me on, great. But I might be back in the same boat in 4 weeks. So it'll allow me to get caught up a little bit. That's why I'm working these 60-hour weeks right now, because it'll allow me to at least get, a few months of rent paid and keep me afloat. So hopefully they keep me on, but it's not guaranteed anything past 4 weeks. All right. Yeah. Let me know, RGS. I would like to go to that. That would be cool. Also, you guys give the like button a tap. If you want to help the show out, give it a repost, all that good stuff. There's a button in my bio where if you want to help support the show, it's right next to my name. It's a little icon. And yeah, that's a good way to do it. Also, super chats and Rumble rants are always greatly appreciated. All that kind of stuff. All right, let's keep going. I got who did I want to go over to next here? This was Robbie Starbuck. I want to go over to Robbie Starbuck here. Oh shit, what did I just do? Oh crap. I hate it when I do that. Yeah. Close that one. Hopefully I don't lose it. Okay, cool. All right. I thought I almost screwed stuff up really bad here. All right, let's go over to Robbie Starbuck and let's talk about the transes. We're going to talk about the transes really quick. Got plenty of that stuff to talk about. So, this like sort of warms my heart because they're still giving out like America's what is that group that goes after that says, oh yeah, WPATH, that group that says, if would you, the whole saying, would you rather have a transgender kid or a dead kid or something like that? They try to say that your kid's going to commit suicide if you don't allow them to gender transition. And they say that the science is behind all this stuff when it's absolutely not. It's all propaganda. And Europe, I think, and the UK have come out and said, no, we're not doing this anymore. Like puberty blockers for minors, gender transitioning, like mastectomies for minors. No, like we're not doing this anymore. There's no science behind it, all that stuff. Well, some American doctors came out and are speaking out against this stuff now. So the American College of Pediatricians just put out a fire statement calling out all major medical associations by name for pushing the gender transition craze on kids. They asked these groups to immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, so social transitioning as well, saying, in California, California government is trying to make it legal, or like they're trying to put teachers in between kids and their parents by saying, teachers don't have to tell parents if your child wants to be called, if your son wants to be called a girl, the teacher doesn't have to mention anything to it. And they're going to go ahead and do that. Call the boy a girl, that kind of thing. Well, this American College of Pediatricians is saying, no, we're not going to do that. Like, don't do that. Like, the thing that California government is actually pushing for, though, they need to make it like illegal. That's gender transitioning. There's no such thing as trans kids. It's you can't change your gender. You can't do it. It's not a thing. Every piece of you is either male or female. You can mutilate yourself in any way that you want, but you're still going to be what you were born as. And teaching kids that you can actually become something different when you can't is, it's abuse. It's psychological abuse. Telling someone that instead of telling a child, no, you're exactly what you're supposed to be. And what you're supposed to be is beautiful the way you are. You're going through a weird thing right now. All kids go through puberty, and we all felt weird when we went through it. There's all sorts of weird things going on with our bodies. We're new chemicals being created by our brains that are making us all wacky. The last thing adults should be doing is telling kids lies that they can become something that they can never become. How is that helping anyone? So that's just the social transitioning portion of it. But so they asked for these groups to immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who experience distress over their biological sex. The full article at AC Ped's statement. Pediatricians, not pedos. Actually, I'll just play the video for you guys. 2-minute video. This is from the American College of Pediatricians.
And we have serious concerns about the physical and mental health effects of the current protocols promoted for the care of children and adolescents in the United States who express discomfort with their biological sex. This declaration was authored by the American College of Pediatricians, but really it was developed from the expertise of hundreds of doctors, researchers, and other healthcare workers and leaders who, for years, have been sounding the alarm on the harmful protocols that continue to be promoted by the medical organizations in the United States. Despite recent revelations from the leaked WPATH files and the recent release of the final report from the CAST review, these medical organizations have not changed course. So we are calling on these medical organizations of the United States, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry to follow the science and their European colleagues and immediately stop the promotion of social affirmation, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries for children and adolescents who experience distress over their biological sex. In our declaration, we affirm that sex is a dimorphic, innate trait defined in relation to an organism's biological role in reproduction, male and female. This genetic signature is present in every nucleated somatic cell in the body and is not altered by drugs or surgical interventions. Consideration of these innate differences is critical to the practice of good medicine and to the development of sound policy for children and adults alike. Medical decision-making should be based upon an individual's biological sex. It should respect biological reality and the dignity of the person by compassionately addressing the whole person. We are here defying the claims made by these medical organizations in the US that those of us who are concerned are a minority and that their protocols are consensus. They are not consensus, and we are speaking in a loud, unified voice. Enough.
Very nice. More doctors need to stand up for all this nonsense, especially after the way doctors behaved during COVID. People need to redeem yourselves. All right. This is okay. Let's actually talk about something funny now. it's funny, but it's sort of terrifying and at the same time, because our president is just just so obvious he's not actually running the country. But this is Biden honoring World War II heroes at a D-Day ceremony, and he's standing there with Jill Biden, Emmanuel Macron, and Macron's wife, who Candace Owens swears is a dude who's way older than him. I don't know if that's true or not, but this video is just hilarious because Biden, I thought I saw Hulk Hogan in the background for a second there. It's not him though. Biden is such a freaking clown show. He just, and this is a very, this is like the emperor has no clothes moment, because like everybody pretends that the emperor actually does have clothes, but he's walking around naked. That's what Emmanuel Macron and his wife and Joe Biden do right now. When Joe Biden just like turns around and starts looking the complete opposite direction, just watch the video. This is it's hysterical. It's funny, but it's like terrifying at the same time. Turn around. Come down back here. First. And Macron notices, he's like, oh, he's turning around. You know what? I'm going to turn around too. Oh yeah, let's face that direction. Oh, he just wanders. Oh God. Let's watch it one more time. Look at Macron's face. That's the funniest part to me is Macron's face when he realizes that Joe Biden's turning around. And he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's like, you know what? No, we're gonna go with it. We're just gonna roll with it. Macron's face when he notices right here. What? Wait, what's that guy doing? What's he doing? Look at his face. It's like, oh shit. What's creepy Uncle Joe doing this time? All right, let's roll with it. Yeah, let's all turn around. Okay. All right. Let's face the wrong direction and act like it's normal. Okay. That's fun. All right. Well, yeah, that happened. And then looks like Joe Biden shit his pants. People are saying that Joe Biden shit his pants, and then somebody made this little meme, and it's pretty much hilarious. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Joe Biden shit his pants? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing here, but it's awkward.
Jake, what you doing? Is it coming out okay?
People think he shit. People think Joe Biden shit. What's funny is I made a joke about Joe Biden shitting his pants like 3 days before that, and then all of a sudden, Joe Biden shitting his pants, it appears. Allegedly shitting his pants. All right, not a funny note. So, did you guys even hear about this? So, this is from Unlimited L's. Just in, 911 call, CCTV footage shows the moment the suspect, and I'm not going to, you know what? I'll play the video, but I'm going to skip over the part. It doesn't show too much, but it does show the actual stabbing. You can't really see it, but I'm just going to skip right over it because I don't want to show it. Footage shows the moment the suspect spots the mother and her 3-year-old boy before stabbing him to death while his mother was loading groceries in the back of her car. This lady walks up to a mother and her child in a stroller, and she stabs the 3-year-old to death. Did you guys hear about this? So this is the 911 phone call from it looks like a worker at the store that it happened at. And Unlimited Else continues. Julian suffered a fatal stab wound to his back and cheek while sitting in his shopping trolley. The mother sustained non-life-threatening injuries, but both were rushed to St. John Medical Center. He's quoting her again. All I heard was just screaming, and the lady grabbed her towel from the bottom of the cart, and that's when it fell over and they collapsed. Over here, another witness said. Bianca spelled Bionca, so Bianca spelled incorrectly. Ellis, 32, was arrested a short walk away, still holding the bloodied knife. She has been arrested days earlier. She had been arrested days earlier on a parole violation, but was released. She is charged with aggravated murder, and her bail was set at $1 million. She was given bail after stabbing a 3-year-old to death. Okay, let's watch. I'm going to skip over the. Okay, so they don't actually show the stabbing in the video, but this is her. You can see she's clearly got the knife in her hand, and it looks like this is the mother with her son in the, it's just a shopping cart. You know how the shopping carts have the little, I mean, what's funny is when I was a kid, I remember sitting in the shopping cart, my dad pushing me around. It had like little slots where the legs can hang out. So I guess she went up when the mother rolled out of the store to her car. That's when the stabbing happened. She just stabbed a kid to death. Like, this is in Chicago, I believe. So she's following her to the car. Like, she decides, I'm going to kill this child, and follows the mother and her child to the car. And like, I mean, how do you not know? This is a massive knife that she has. It's like a big ass kitchen knife, probably like a 10 or a 12-inch blade. How do you not notice that? And then, I mean, you don't engage this person. I mean, this is a big fat woman, but you get in a fight with somebody with a knife, you're going to get cut or going to get stabbed. There's just like no way around it. But I mean, a shopping cart is a formidable distancing tool against her. I mean, firearm, like if I see this woman walking around with a knife and I got a firearm on me, especially if I see her approaching someone, yeah, I'm especially approaching a child, I'm probably drawing the firearm and telling her to drop the knife. What are you doing? I mean, how this is so frustrating. And that was from the North Olmsted PD. It's just a horrible, horrible freaking story. Just, oh crap! I didn't even share the video with you guys. You know what? It's good. It's good. I didn't even. Yeah, Wally World drink. Well, you guys get it. I already told you guys what happened. Lady followed. Damn it! Can't believe I didn't share that with you guys. But you guys get it. A 3-year-old was stabbed to death. Lady with a giant knife followed her out to the car and stabbed a child to death. Yeah, I'm not gonna play it again. I don't want to. Let's see. Yeah. No, Tony, I'm not even gonna play it. You don't need to see it. You guys can search it. So yeah, I know. I didn't play the video. My apologies. But it's good. Yeah, thanks, Northside. Yeah, sorry. Stream's getting long and I'm getting lazy apparently. Let's keep going. So it's from Inside Paper. Biden to temporarily shut Mexico border to asylum seekers. This is from the White House. And you know, it sounds like, oh, they're shutting the border down. They're not really doing it. So let's go over to Brian Krasenstein here. And it's funny. Krasenstein tries to act like he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth here. So he says, breaking, Joe Biden is readying a sweeping executive order to curb migrant arrivals as soon as tomorrow, according to CBS and the BBC. Here's everything you need to know. Swift deportations. Under the proposed order, U.S. officials could quickly deport migrants who enter illegally without processing their asylum request once a daily threshold is reached. Huh? Wait a minute. Hold on. So you can deport. So they're still letting people in. You just got to make sure that you're processing, that your paperwork is complete. This is a giant nothing burger. Limiting arrivals. This measure aims to limit the number of migrant arrivals, according to the unnamed sources briefed on the order. That's from CBS. Legal basis. Reports indicate Biden is considering using a 1952 law 212F that allows the president to restrict access to the American asylum system. Historical use. The same law was used by the Trump administration to ban immigrants from several predominantly Muslim countries and to bar the migrants from asylum if apprehended crossing illegally. Asylum processing is at ports of entry is expected to continue with about 1,500 asylum seekers processed daily, mostly through CBP, the CBP One app. Oh yeah, I forgot. Illegal immigrants can download an app that allow them to request asylum. And so all they got to do is just like wait on the other side of the fence until their app says it's okay. 1,500 people a day, you guys. That's an insane amount of people. Okay, we'll keep going. Political reactions. Mayors of several border towns, including Brownsville and Edinburgh, Texas, are expected in Washington for the announcement. Potential challenges. The proposal is likely to face court challenges from immigration advocates or Republican-led states. Call me crazy, but it seems like Biden is the only one who really wants to fix the problem while everyone else appears to... Oh, shut the frick up, Krasenstein. I can't stand these guys. All right. So, you guys heard Fauci was put on the stand, right? You guys heard Dr. Fauci was put on the stand and grilled because this man belongs in prison. Well, a doctor actually went up against him and exposed him for the fraud that he is. And, you know, Democrats tried to cover for him, and like they did the whole pandemic. But this was kind of, I mean, nothing's going to come of it, but it's nice seeing Dr. Fauci exposed for what he is, the lying criminal that he is. And let's just listen to actually who's grilling him here. So this is from Kim.com. The fall of Fauci COVID-19 is officially exposed as a U.S. government project, a virus engineered by U.S. scientists using a biolab in China for cover. The biggest crime against humanity killed more victims than the Nazi Holocaust against the Jews. Demand justice. That's from Kim.com. And, you know, the Department of Energy and the FBI have already confirmed that the lab leak is the most likely reason for COVID, that it escaped from a lab. Remember, it was racist to say that. It's not racist to say Chinese people like to eat bats. So let's listen to Dr. Fauci get grilled. This is from Mario Narwhals. Let me see. Who is it that grills him again? I can't remember his name. Dr. Jackson. All right, let's just listen to it.
Mr. Raskin, you're out of line. Your times have expired. I now recognize Dr. Jackson from Texas for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Fauci, I have to say, I, as so many Americans, am deeply disappointed in your actions during a critical time in our nation's history while you were in key leadership roles as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and as the chief medical advisor to President Biden. Put quite simply, you failed miserably, in my opinion. Based on all we have learned during the pandemic and all that we have since learned through this committee's work, I believe your failures stem from both an effort of self-preservation, manifested by a series of lies and cover-up, and by a total failure of leadership. It was obvious to everyone that you and your organization, NIH, had a lot to lose if the American people were to discover that COVID-19 was most likely leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China, and that you, via EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, actually funded this research, and that this lab was actively and recklessly conducting gain-of-function research. As such, you did everything in your power to deflect and cover up this possibility. You even recruited others to help you in this effort. Unfortunately, this cost our country and the world.
So the emails came out where Daszak and some of Fauci's representatives were talking about, because to avoid emails coming out from a FOIA request, obviously delete emails about they're discussing how, yeah, we think this came from a lab, because when you look at the virus under a microscope, this does not look like something that occurred in nature. That's what they say. There's this, what do they say? The Farron cleavage site, where you could tell this is like a man-made virus, because you just look at it under a microscope and you could tell, yeah, this isn't something that occurred in nature. There's emails of them talking about this before all of the COVID hysteria like hit the fan. They're talking about it through email. And then they're also intentionally misspelling keywords, so those emails won't get flagged when they do some sort of search with the algorithm. But not everybody erased the emails. And, you know, there's the stuff about between Fauci and Peter Daszak about basically covering their tracks, because, yeah, that COVID appears like, it still amazes me how there's just been no repercussions from Dr. Fauci funding gain-of-function research, a term that they later redefined, so what they were doing doesn't fall under that criteria. But Dr. Fauci funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, it leaking, causing this giant pandemic, this worldwide pandemic, and then he's the one put in charge of policy. It's insane. Insane. This video will probably get flagged by YouTube. I don't care.
Valuable time that may have led to answers regarding the origin, may have blunted the spread, and would have almost certainly saved lives. While I think most of us have known all along what I just described, what I have been appalled to discover through sworn testimony to this committee is the level at which you and those that worked for you went to cover up the obvious. Just a few examples, and I know these have been touched on, but they're important for everyone to hear. Dr. Lawrence Tabak, former acting director of NIH, testified that under the generic definition that NIH did in fact fund gain-of-function research. This was based on a definition that was initially used by NIH and a definition that was abandoned and removed from the website in October of 2021 and replaced by a new, much more detailed definition with a much higher bar that you have since conveniently used to define gain-of-function testing and to deny what Dr. Tabak has since confirmed. He also said that EcoHealth Alliance failed to properly and promptly report that their research violated the terms of the grant, something that went completely unaddressed under your watch. Dr. Moran's, your senior advisor, who you have tried today to distance yourself from, but whose large volume of emails clearly demonstrate that you had a very close and personal relationship with, and who reported to you directly, has openly bragged about how he subverted FOIA requests. I remind you that the law requires you and your former organization to comply with Freedom of Information Act requests. It is not optional. If you or your employees or your organization that you oversaw were systemically avoiding transparency and illegally hiding or destroying documents that rightfully belong to the American people, then you should be criminally charged, and they should as well. In addition, Dr. Gregory Folkers, your chief of staff, also engaged in illegal practices in which he crafted.
And so keep in mind, they're about to lock up Steve Bannon for what? Contempt, like not showing up to some congressional hearing that they wanted him to show up to. Meanwhile, Dr. Fauci deletes emails showing that they were trying to cover up the fact that they were conducting gain-of-function research in a Chinese lab, and that led to an outbreak that put the world in turmoil for 4 years. And he's not being charged. And Trump, they're going after him, trying to lock him up. They could potentially put him in prison for 25 years because they're saying he used campaign funds, which he didn't, to shut up Stormy Daniels. And then you've got all the January 6th people. Some were put in solitary confinement for what? For trespassing. The weaponization of the justice system. And Fauci has committed crimes against humanity, and nothing. Not to mention what he did with the Beagles. Remember that?
Messages using symbols instead of letters to avoid FOIA exposure. In an email, April 2020, from Dr. Moran's to Peter Daszak, he says, quote, "There are things I can't say." Well, I wonder what he couldn't say. He also went on to say, quote, "Except Tony is aware, and I have learned there are ongoing efforts within NIH to steer through this with minimal damage to you, Peter, and colleagues, and to NIH and NAID," end quote. And then a few days later, he said, quote, "I have reason to believe that there are already efforts going on to protect you," end quote. In February of 2021, Dr. Moran's wrote to Boston University scientist Gerald Kirsch saying, quote, "I learned from our FOIA lady here how to make emails disappear after I'm FOIA'd, but before the search starts. So I think we are all safe," end quote. Dr. Fauci, I want to know what you were being protected from and what you needed to be safe from. I'm going to go on because I have a little time here. He went on to say, quote, "Plus, I deleted most of the earlier emails after sending to Gmail. Once again, illegal and an actual crime." Dr. Moran's noted in another email to Dr. Kirsch saying, quote, I learned the tricks last year from an old friend, Marge Moore, who heads our FOIA office and also hates FOIAs," end quote. It is absolutely amazing to me that Dr. Moran's and Marge Moore still have jobs and taxpayers are still paying their salaries. Dr. Moran's wrote to Dr. Daszak in April of 2021, quote, "P.S. I forgot to say there is no worry about FOIAs. I can either send stuff to Tony on his private email or hand it to him to work or at his house. He is too smart to let colleagues send him stuff that could cause trouble." End quote. Apparently, you neglected to surround yourself with equally smart individuals. Dr. Moran's wrote to another collaborator, Peter Hotitz, in June 2021, at Baylor College of Medicine, that he had deleted all his emails related to COVID origin when, quote, "the shit hit the fan," end quote. He said, quote, "I feel pretty sure Tony were too. The best way to avoid FOIA hassles is to delete all emails when you learn the subject is pretty sensitive." In October 2021, Dr. Moran's wrote to Peter Daszak, quote, "Peter, from Tony's numerous recent comments to me and from what Francis has been vocal about over the past 5 years, we are trying to protect you, and they are protecting their own reputations as well," end quote. I'll just jump ahead. The American people can rest assured that we are going to continue to pursue answers, and we continue to push for full accountability from you and your colleagues, despite continuing efforts to try to cover this up. Dr. Fauci, history will not be kind to you, and you will be known as the man who put his personal interests before the interest of the American people, the very people that you were supposed to be protecting. Your actions, along with several others we have had before this committee, have completely eroded America's trust in our public health system and the agency that you represented for half a century. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired, and now.
Oh, it's so frustrating, you guys. Just, they got away with murder, quite literally. Just, yeah, that's it. They got away with murder. All right, I encourage you guys all to go and look at all the questioning that Fauci was. I mean, he was just exposed, but I mean, Rand Paul's been doing this the whole time, but it's like, how do you defend against any of this? It's Dr. Fauci was funding the research. It was gain of function research. It was done at the Wuhan lab. It got out. It's clearly a man-made virus. And then they tried to cover it up. There's emails from all of it. And nothing's going to happen. Like Matty Bracco just said, nothing's going to happen. It's frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. I don't. Crimes against humanity. All right. So we'll end on that. We'll end on that note. Well, before we get out of here, we'll hopefully end on a good note. I don't know if the joke's going to be good or not, but before we get out of here, you know how we do it. Got to read a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. I don't know if it's going to be a good one. I will scan it a little bit and hope for the best, but okay. All right. That's it. I read it. It's kind of funny. We'll see. Let's see. Matty Bracco, T-Bone Tony, Liz. Let's see. Michael Letter, Jim Freeman. Let's see. Wally World, Symbolic T, B Sizzo, Hickory 54, Miss Cakes, Hallucinate. All you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully I didn't miss any of you guys. Just Patty B. Oh, sorry, you were the first person to comment. Nice to see you. Just Patty B. I don't know if you're still here. This is a long show. Northside, RGS, Casey Martin, Mahanish, Terry Wallace, Chad of Chads, Blue Katu, Tajanki? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that one. All you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Always fun to see you. Manji Vermin, we feel you, bro. Much love and respect. Thanks for hanging out. All you guys. Always good to see you guys. I will be back here next Sunday for sure. I'm going to try and do an episode on Wednesday as well. So I'll try to be back here on Wednesday. But I'm not making any promises because, again, I'm working 60 hours a week, and then I'm also driving 4 hours each day. So it's getting gnarly. It's getting kind of gnarly, but getting that OT, so it's nice. All right, here we go. Chuck Norris joke of the evening. Hope everybody enjoyed the show, and I will see you next Sunday, maybe Wednesday for sure. All right, before he goes on stage, Chuck Norris breaks someone else's leg to give him good luck. Stay CaliBased.